Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Robert Meyer Burnett. I invite you to watch and listen to the Designing Hollywood podcast, brought to you by Martika Ibarra and the great, legendary Hollywood costume designer, Marilyn Vance. I am afforded the wonderful opportunity of co-hosting the show. If you are interested in the magic of Hollywood, the design of Hollywood, the clothes of Hollywood, watch the Designing Hollywood podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts from, or find the video version on YouTube. That's right, the Designing Hollywood podcast. Why would you ever want to miss it? Especially if you love the movies. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and of course, your pharaoh of physical media. That's right, Robert Meyer Burnett, and this is Let's Get Physical Media, episode 91. And you know, as much as I'm sure you like looking at my hipster Santa face, what you really want, what you really want to see, what you really want to experience, who you want to hear from is your favorite German. My favorite German, the world's favorite German, all the way from Saarbrücken, Deutschland, Mr. Dear Bastian. Dieter, oh, you're dressed in blue. I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I'm feeling blue today.
Are you feeling blue today?
Feeling blue. You know, I had to dress up for the occasion, you know. We have some blue topic to talk about, but before we do that, I say, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Dieter here. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane, and welcome to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media, where physical media is at the heart of the show, but we talk about all stuff that comes across our desk. And of course, one for the last few days is, of course, Avatar, The Way of Water. And I know, Rob, you already talked about it on Midnight Musings ad nauseum.
Oh, we'll talk about it again.
Yeah. So what do we do first, Rob? A little bit from our both sides review or the box office?
Okay, hang on a second. I have to start this show with the rant.
Okay.
A bit of a rant.
Okay.
As you all know, all the people that are watching this show, maybe you don't know, but 2023 sees the 100th anniversary of two studios, Disney and Warner Brothers. And Warner Brothers has released a trailer for their, and they've even got a logo for their 100th year celebration. In this trailer, they have clips from movies like The Wizard of Oz, Gone with the Wind, Ben-Hur, Poltergeist, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Why is that worth noting, you may ask? Because they're not fucking Warner Brothers movies. You've got Morgan Freeman with his voiceover going, we're the storytellers, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they're showing films that are not part of the rich cinematic legacy of Warner Brothers. They were made by MGM during the halcyon days of the studio era. Ben-Hur, Gone with the Wind, Wizard of Oz. Those are MGM movies. They were not made by Warner Brothers. Now, here's the thing. Warner Brothers has acquired those movies through deal-making, Turner, and stuff that happened in the 80s. So they now are the distributors of those movies. But they didn't make them. Now, a lot of people say, Rob, why do you care? Well, because it's truly revisionist history. And these kinds of things matter. And when the studio itself, the first thing you see besides the actual backlot and the water tower of the studio in this video is Dorothy. You know, is Dorothy in the red slippers, the ruby slippers, you know. And when you see that, they're leading with a movie that is not part of Warner Brothers' rich legacy. And this is, I think, first of all, you know, Arthur C. Clarke made a comment about whether or not there are aliens in the universe. He said, There might, if there are aliens in the universe, or if there aren't aliens in the universe, both of those are equally terrifying, those responses. Well, here's the thing. If somebody knew that this was the case, or somebody didn't know this was the case at Warner Brothers, both of those answers should be equally terrifying or equally depressing. Because the studio, as I like to say, and I'm going to make a rant video about this probably, Warner Brothers bogarts MGM's legacy for their 100th anniversary. That's what I'm going to say because of Humphrey Bogart and Casablanca. These things are important. And for Warner Brothers to put front and center movies that they did not make, that they just acquired, I think is wrong. And I think, we have new studio management with like David Zaslav and his whole team. They should be interested in preserving the rich legacy of the studio. And now I would like to show you some things. Now, I understand this is different from, the fact that they can distribute movies, they've done a great job, by the way. Warner Brothers has done a great job putting all these movies out on disc. I have no complaints with them putting out. They've done beautiful transfers of 2001. But for instance, I'll give you an example. So Stanley Kubrick made Warner Brothers his home studio through the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s up to his passing. He made 2001 at MGM. Like when you watch 2001, one of the cool things is the blue and white. There's no roaring lion at the beginning. There's the blue card with the white cool graphic of the MGM lion in front of the film. It's awesome. It's MGM. It's not Warner Brothers. It's MGM. Then after 2001, Kubrick moved over to Warner Brothers and he made Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, and his final film, Eyes Wide Shut. At Warner Brothers. Those are Warner Brothers movies. Well, I didn't see any Barry Lyndon in their clip. Now here is from their 100th anniversary celebration. Here is off the website showing the movies. Beloved classics. Well, look what you got. You've got, Ben-Hur and, Singing in the Rain and, whatever. Movies that Warner Brothers, they didn't make Ben-Hur. They didn't make it. And it's on their website, on their 100th website. Wizard of Oz, North by Northwest. Come on. These are, who made these movies? Not Warner Brothers. You go on, 2001, right next to all these other great movies that Warner Brothers made, but they didn't make 2001. And here's another thing. They didn't make Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory either. That was a Paramount release. And then, of course, you have Poltergeist along with New Line and Warner Brothers movies. And why is it a big deal? It's a big deal to me because it's people being fucking stupid. Now, why not? Why shouldn't Warner Brothers say, as part of our history, we now have these great MGM titles that are in our library, which we distribute? I wouldn't have a problem if they did that. But they're talking about the 100-year legacy of the studio. And they didn't make these movies. It's not a part of their legacy. They are bogarting MGM's legacy. Bogarting.
So Disney is putting out a clip with all the 20th Century Fox titles then?
Well, that's another thing that I was wondering. Is Disney now going to say, as part of their 100th anniversary, are they going to take credit for all of Fox's films? Are they going to suddenly take credit for Patton? And hey, if you are going to take credit for Patton, Disney, then give me my fucking 4K of Patton.
Yeah.
What's up, bro? But this is problematic, and I think that why it matters is our history matters. With recently there's the idea that our history is somehow malleable is problematic. The old adage, those who do not learn from history are destined to repeat history. Now, what does that matter in the media landscape? Well, it matters because in the 20th century, MGM's cinematic legacy as a studio, and even Warner Brothers also, what's not Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind came out in 1939. They both came out in 1939. You know what else came out in 1939 that is not in the Warner Brothers video that they had made? This movie, Bette Davis in Dark Victory. This fucking movie rules. And you know who's in it, by the way? Humphrey Bogart. This is a great film. This is one of the great movies that Warner Brothers ever released in that period. Some numbnuts, some fucking kid who cut this legacy, this studio, somebody probably gave whatever company cut that trailer. It's not that it's a bad trailer. It's just it features movies that aren't Warner Brothers movies and doesn't feature because, you know, kids today, what the hell do they know of Dark Victory? Nothing. But they should. And you watching now, you should know. See, Academy Award winner. But it matters. It matters because, you know, people should not be taking credit for things they didn't do. And more importantly, our historical records for the next generation are important. And as movies become less important in our culture, I think preserving the rich studio legacy of Warner Brothers history, it's not, I mean, they've got a great history. Celebrate that.
Exactly.
Don't like MGM has been picked apart. The poor studio has been like a dead animal that people have been feeding off of for far too long. So let it be known
vultures are coming down.
that we here at Let's Get Physical Media, we believe in preserving the rich legacy of MGM as MGM and David Zaslav and you people at Warner Brothers. You know, there's somebody I should call, but I'm not gonna. You people at Warner Brothers, you got to do better. And in your 100th anniversary, do not bogart the rich legacy of MGM. Do not pretend that your studio made Poltergeist, made Willy Wonka. And Willy Wonka is not even a Warner Brothers movie. That came out through Paramount. And, you know, Ben-Hur, North by Northwest, 2001, Wizard of Oz. Shame on you, Warner Brothers. Shame. Shame. You should be walking down the street naked, and people should be throwing shit at you. Shame. Shame. And I love, by the way, I love Warner Brothers. I worked at Warner Brothers in the late 80s and early 90s. I made the Hills Run Red at Warner Brothers. I think of Warner Brothers as my home studio. That's why this is more disappointing. It's more disappointing. They do great home video releases. God damn it, as you would say.
Yeah, an arrow straight through the heart. But they could have fooled me, Rob, because I was thinking, what is he talking about? Ben-Hur was, because I have the collector's edition. There was the Warner Brothers logo on it, so they could have fooled me, Rob, unfortunately.
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to pull a fast one. No, they own the rights to distribute these movies now, and they have for a very long time. And they've done right by these movies. Man, where's my 4K of Ben-Hur? They do a great job. You know, they're doing great restoration. And I have to say, shout out to Warner Brothers for Casablanca. You know, we talked about it last week. They cleaned up the sound. Yeah. That movie, it looks incredible. Warner Brothers, I am salivating to see what The Exorcist looks like. I can't wait to see. Although, hey, if you're gonna bogart MGM's catalog, where's my 2010 4K disc? Come on, man, put out some little sci-fi action. I want some Brainstorm. I want some 2010, and I want Robert Zemeckis' Contact in 4K. Come on, Warner Brothers. Maybe I'll kind of forgive you, but I want these. Who's in charge? Who's in charge for new release or for catalog titles like that? Or give them to Warner Archive. Warner Archive will do a great job. They should have, you know, they've got a great new year coming up. We talked about it last week. Can't wait. But anyway, Dieter,
I remember
I end my rant.
I remember Contact being a great DVD back in the day, considering the traveling point in the movie was always a good sound experience to show off with Contact. I remember the DVD really, really fondly. But nice 4K of that movie would be awesome. Would be awesome to get one.
Yeah, man.
So let's see what Disney's clip will feature.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Considering you mentioned The Exorcist, isn't there now a remake or a series in?
They're doing a new trilogy. The way Blumhouse is doing a new trilogy, the same way they did Halloween. They're doing and Ellen Burstyn's coming back. 90-year-old Ellen Burstyn. They figured out how to bring her back. I hope she's still playing Reagan's mom. I don't know.
Okay.
Does the world need? I like the first season of the Exorcist TV series, and I love the Exorcist 3. So.
Okay. So speaking of Avatar, Rob, what do we do first? A little bit a review or the box
would you
office?
like to talk some box office, because there's some controversy going on. Controversy about the Avatar box office, because remember, I can't remember a movie that people have been waiting to see fail more than they've wanted to see Avatar. I mean, there's what is your favorite word? Schadenfreude?
Considering it needs to make 2 billion, Rob, how can it not be failing?
Let's start with the international box office, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
Avatar has made, since Thursday, $435 million globally. Almost $500 million in a weekend.
In the weekend, more than Black Adam in its whole running time.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So the highly anticipated sequel to James Cameron's, by the way, this comes to us from Nancy Tartaglione at Deadline. The highly anticipated sequel to James Cameron's Avatar: Way of Water has finished its first weekend with a 434.5 global bow. Of that, 300.5 million comes from the international box office. The worldwide opening is the third highest global weekend posted by any Hollywood film during the pandemic era. Number 2 was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness at 442 million, as well as the second highest opening of 2022. So it's a smash hit. It's estimated that the opening weekend for Avatar: The Way of Water is 82% ahead of Top Gun: Maverick, 78% ahead of the first Avatar. That's important to remember. 78% ahead of the first Avatar, 42% ahead of Jurassic World Dominion, and 24% behind last year's holiday release of Spider-Man: No Way Home. For sure, the outcome of the opening is below projections. Partly, that's because we have consistently mentioned China was a swing. It ended up at $57.1 million for what had been expected as a potential $100 million bow, but COVID concerns are clearly impacting. Huge COVID outbreaks and lockdowns in China. That's how it opened. Now I'm going to give you the domestic look. Avatar: The Way of Water opens to 134 million, which is very under what was expected. Now, this comes to us from Anthony D'Alessandro. Avatar: The Way of Water is coming in close to where we told you last night, 44.5 million for Saturday and an opening weekend of 134 million. Despite Avatar: The Way of Water missing its projections of 150 to 175 million, rival distribution sources and exhibition are not bothered, nor do they believe that the sky is falling for cinema, particularly for a movie that cost, according to sources, not Disney, around $460 million before prints and advertising. When it comes to the ultimate fate of Avatar 2, which was propped up greatly by IMAX, PLF, and premium 3D ticket sales this weekend at 62%, we have to play the long game. Factor in that 20% of the sequel's pre-sales are for showtimes beyond this weekend. That means 20% of the tickets that were sold are not for this weekend, so they weren't even counted in the box office. Normally, for an average Marvel movie, their pre-sales stand at 5% beyond opening weekend. Each day from Monday through New Year's weekend is like a Saturday at the box office. Media outlets at the time of Titanic and Avatar's play immediately declared them bombs before they respectively became the highest-grossing movies of all time. This is important to note. Both Titanic and the first Avatar were considered bombs, but they have legs. And not only that, the reason that the box office is down is because people are waiting to go see this movie in IMAX, in Dolby 3D, IMAX 3D. They know, audiences know that to experience this movie is to go see it in a premium format presentation, which they're all sold out, which is why it's not making the box office that it's expected, because most people have waited to go see it. Um, and here's another thing. Providing confidence that Avatar 2 has great play ahead of it are its stellar audience exit polls. It has an A cinema score, which is very important, 91% and 5 stars on ComScore's Screen Engine post-track, and a great ability to hold. In fact, the movie is already holding in full force. Avatar 2's Friday to Saturday decline is only 16%. That is the best Friday to Saturday hold for a year-end tentpole poll release of late, at beating The Rise of Skywalker, which had a 47% drop from Friday to Saturday. Force Awakens dropped 43% Friday to Saturday. Spider-Man No Way Home dropped 39% Friday to Saturday. Last Jedi dropped 39% Friday to Saturday. And Rogue One dropped 35% Friday to Saturday. Avatar 2 dropped 16%. That's insane. So
that's good.
It's holding. Top Gun Maverick was floated as a companion to Avatar 2, given how it was a long-awaited sequel to a legacy film. Avatar 2's ease from Friday is even ahead of that Tom Cruise title, which declined 27% between its first Friday and Saturday. Top Gun 2 had a 5.67% multiple off its 3-day opening of $126.7 million and got to $718.7 million domestic. It's the 7th highest opening of 2022, but the top grossing movie of the year. Tent poles do leg out off lower openings, and that's the expectation here with Avatar 2, as moviegoers seek out the best tickets and the best formats in the coming weeks. Also, most importantly, there's no competition. Nothing else is really opening here in the United States. So, and the biggest movie that's opening is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That's opening February 7th.
Yeah.
And so schools are out beginning Monday. Tomorrow, no schools. So Avatar 2, it's going to be fine. It's going to make a hell of a lot of money.
I think we will know a little bit more in the second weekend, when the second weekend comes out. Cameron is always there for the long game, not for the opening weekend.
And also, for those of you who were wondering, Avatar 3 is mostly finished principal photography. There's a cut of it. I think James Cameron, I was watching, he said he shot already 95. He owes some things, but for the most part, it's already done.
Yeah.
So
they can already start with the post-production, I believe.
Yes.
With it.
So there we go. There's your box office. Now let me rifle through. Wakanda Forever is number 2 for the weekend.
Okay.
And its total domestically is almost 419 million. Violent Night is up to 35 million. Strange World is up to 33 million. The Menu at number 5 is up to 32 million. They've got to be happy with that. Devotion is up to 18.7 million. The Fabelmans is at 8 million, almost 9 million. Black Adam is at 167 million. I Heard the Bells, I don't know what that is. It's a faith-based movie, I think. Is 5 million, and Empire of Light is at 500,000, basically. So there you go.
Yeah, pretty nice starting point, I would say. Even if it's a little bit under the estimates. Yeah, exactly. So, Rob, I saw it twice already. I watched it first on the midnight preview on Tuesday to Wednesday. There were 6 people in it, Rob, in that screening. And I saw it this afternoon with a little bit of a bigger crowd this afternoon because it was in German, Rob, this afternoon. And I have to say, the dubbing was not bad. It was a nice version of the movie. I could hear it.
Did you see it in 3D?
Of course, Rob. I saw it in 3D. And I would say we start with the technical aspects first, because it's always a big selling point for the movie. The 3D is great. But the HFR, again, Rob. For me, I don't know if it is handled in the IMAX screen. Here, the HFR was for me distracting because of its dynamic use. We talked a little bit about last week when you said that the bad Canadian kid uses motion smoothing on his television. And for me, watching Avatar was like using the motion smoothing, but you have three settings: low, medium, and high. And you switch back and forth between those settings, you know? Low, medium, high, and then off. Low, medium, high, off. And you didn't know what the next shot would look like. So, Jimmy, please, when it comes out on Blu ray, if you do HFR, do it or do it not. But not this, here a little bit more, here a little bit less. So it was sometimes, it has a film look, and then the next shot was completely video look, and this was back and forth, back and forth. So for me, this was a little bit distracting. If you do HFR, do or do not, like Yoda would say, but not this dynamic. So
Yeah,
I don't know if how the IMAX presentation was, Rob. For me,
did
this
not
was
bother
distracting.
me. Yeah, it didn't bother
Okay.
me in IMAX, and
Okay.
and I've heard that I don't know if they can do it in IMAX, but it wasn't. I could tell it was there. I mean, for those of you who don't know, HFR is high frame rate, and this
Yeah.
movie has a variable frame rate, which I don't know if any other movie in history has had a variable frame rate
No.
like this.
I
mean, there's been slow motion in
Every-
movies, but so high frame rate. Most movies that we watch are made at 24 frames a second. And it's a succession of still photos projected at 24 frames a second, which creates movement, and persistence of vision is what we see as movement. High frame rate, a higher frame rate, in this case 48 frames per second, what it does is our eyes perceive high frame rate differently. And the way we take in images at that frame rate, it's as if we're seeing reality. Our brain is tricked in, there's no persistence of vision. So what you're seeing, the reason it looks like soap opera, or whatever, something shot on videotape, but very hyper clear, our brain is tricked into thinking it's seeing reality. And so we know that that's not how movies are supposed to look, because for 100 years, well, up until they came up with standard silent movies, sometimes were 18 frames a second, but it was just, it's different. So what you're doing is you're seeing the images, and in IMAX, it wasn't as noticeable. But I would imagine if you didn't see it in IMAX, it would be more noticeable.
It was like I said, if you would have three motion smoothing settings, low, medium, and high, and you switch between those three through the whole movie, if James Cameron would just have used it for the underwater stuff, I would say there is some visual storytelling with it combined. But so it was a little bit distracting. Sometimes it looks, like we said, totally soap opera, and the next shot you think, oh, it's more film-like now. Okay, so I would have do one or the other, but this dynamic, that was even for me worse than the Hobbit. We don't all, the most of people don't like HFR. Me neither. But if it would be consistent, at least I could have at least warmed up to it. So it was a little bit distracting. Sometimes video look to the extreme max, then a little bit less, and the next shot, more film-like. And I didn't see any rhyme or reason to why here the frame rate is more, there it is less, But beside that, the 3D was, of course, great. But you and I, Rob, we are 3D friends. So for us too, even if the 3D is great and probably one of the best, of course, it's not particularly new to us, Other people that skipped on 3D for the last 10 years after Avatar and now seeing it and praising it perhaps, well, they missed out some great conversions over the last years.
Yeah, no, well, look, Avatar is the best 3D that's ever been done, and Avatar Way of Water has, I mean, even when you're going through the jungle at the beginning, the rain coming down, it's insane. The 3D is incredible. And of course, James Cameron, the question is that I have for you now, though, Dieter, is did you like Avatar The Way of Water?
Did I like it, Rob? Considering that most people bitching about the first one, the story is copy and paste. And this new one now gets the praise. It's better than the first. No, it's not better than the first. Because you have a lot of stuff that is just rinse, repeat from the first. We have to tame beasts again. We have to learn the habits of a new tribe again. Then there is in the underwater stuff. Somebody is underwater hiding in the underwater tree, that the monster, that the bad animal doesn't get to him. Just like in the first one, you have a lot of stuff that is just more or less the same than it was in the first. And I'm not really fond of all the kids stuff. Do we have to have 5 kids? That Mowgli kid, come on, get rid of that Mowgli kid.
Spider's great. Come on now.
Yeah, stop it, Rob. You know what I would have done? I would have the Colonel Quadridge kidnap one of Jake Sully's son, and then showed him a little bit of his father as a Marine. Perhaps make some fake footage like in Running Man. That he lost his platoon because he made a mistake that brought him into a wheelchair, and trying to bring his real son, not that Mowgli kid, to his side, but he was just out for revenge. You have the Earth people coming here. Okay, we do a little bit terraforming here, and it would have been great for me when they gotten rid of the Na'vi or of Jake Sully, if the commander would say, you don't need to do your revenge anymore, he's away. And if Colonel Quadridge would have gone rogue with his squad and left the military behind just to get his revenge, and then you have a little bit of singing with the whales and talking with the whales stuff. So for me, from the story perspective, this is not better than the first, from my perspective. But since I'm a sucker for visuals and action, of course, this is a must-buy for me. And for me, at the end, a 7 out of 10. And the first is still an 8 out of 10 for me.
All right.
So good, okay. But from a story perspective, come on with all the kid stuff. And, and if people say that the movie could have been shortened, yes, it could have. But it was nice to look at, all the water stuff, of course. It was easy to look at. But there's a lot of stuff that's just more of the same that it was in the first one. And Rob, I was flabbergasted yesterday when you said you were emotionally more connected to this one than when Tony died in Endgame. I cried when Tony died in Endgame.
I didn't say I was emotionally more connected. I mean, it was just...
You said on Midnight Music, we had more emotional connection to Avatar: The Way of Water than with those Infinity and Endgame movies. And considering our Jimmy C, in the ILM docu on Disney Plus, he said that the visuals are great for me in Avatar. That was already a given, And Jim said, now we have to do story. Story has to be front and center because we can't wow people with visuals anymore. But James, this movie actually lives on the visuals mostly for me and the great action. But from the story perspective, and I don't even know, the third is already shot. I don't know where he will go from there, And people were complaining about the first one being a copy of this, that, and Cell. But this one, from the story perspective, it's okay, but nothing to sneeze at for me.
All right.
Okay.
Why you got a harsh
7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. But I watched it twice, Rob. Yeah, I know. I watched it twice, Rob.
Just like Marvin the Paranoid Android, this will all end in tears. All right.
But I'm really looking forward seeing it at home, perhaps in 3D, when there is no more HFR distraction considering the soap look, and it will hopefully be at one steady frame rate. Because for me, this was a little bit distracting. It wasn't as distracting this afternoon when I was knowing what I was getting into. Really looked at the different scenes to see why he chooses more frames here and a little bit less there. But for me, choose one. Choose HFR or not, but not this switching back and forth. This for me was not the best presentation that I would have wanted for the movie. So I don't know, considering your theaters, here you can choose 3D without HFR. That's a possibility.
Oh, okay.
Here.
I don't know if that's the case where we're at, but that's
So you have 3D, 3D HFR, and of course there are English showings with both, and of course 2D showings are available as well. But the theater was really packed this afternoon, and I think the people had a good time. And they made an intermission, Rob. Most screenings here are with an intermission.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And considering the runtime of the movie, it's not bad to make a little bit of an intermission of 15 minutes.
All right.
So 7 out of 10. So for me, Rob, if you like the first one, the second is a must, of course.
All right then.
Okay.
Well, so where are we going now?
We can do live chat. I have one letter, or we can show stuff, Rob, because we already.
Why don't we show some stuff?
Okay. Who starts, Rob?
You want to start?
Okay. I start with this one. You have probably heard about it, Rob, or at least you know the date of the movie that it refers to. About 5/25/77.
Yeah, Patrick Reed Johnson's movie that he's worked on for like 20 years.
Yeah, I made a little bit history about it, how the movie was put together. So it was a really, really nice one about the special effects guy, Patrick Johnson, so a little bit autobiographic, and how he did the movies in his backyard. The sequels were some great stuff in it. So really, really nice one, considering how you get involved into the movie business, and that Star Wars was the final nail that brought him to Hollywood. So nice one here. The next one, little steelbook, a little movie you probably know, Rob. Night of the Living Dead.
Wow.
This is the steelbook.
That's dope, dude. Wow. They're coming to get you, Bob.
And it comes, of course, with the 4K, the Blu-ray, and a bonus.
Wow, look at that.
For the movie, Night of the Living Dead. So we have the collection complete. The next one you already showed, I believe, but it wasn't, as far as I remember, Rob, not the steelbook for
No,
ET,
it was not.
4K.
Not the steelbook.
This is the steelbook for our extraterrestrial friend. Let me just see. Or just the
nice
all behind it. So, but I haven't watched it. Have you checked the 4K already, Rob? Did you have time?
Yes, it's beautiful.
Okay.
It's a beautiful transfer.
Awesome. The next one got great reviews from the critics, but I have to say, actually, this was not, for me, Phil Tippett's movie.
Oh, come on. You didn't like it?
God. Actually, Rob, I couldn't get into it. And, we all need to have to get other opinions that, equals the one you have. And I was checking Rotten Tomatoes just to see about the bad reviews, if one was fitting mine. Let me just see. Because Daniel M. Kimmel said, an hour and a half of surreal grotesqueries without plot, rhyme, or reason. And that's exactly what I thought, too, about this movie. And I don't know how long Phil Tippett worked on it. So for me, from the visual standpoint, there are great stuff, but they are really strange. I don't know what Phil Tippett is smoking the last few years, but it has to be some strong stuff, I reckon. So, Matt God. And one more, 4K, because I watched it on Paramount Plus 2 months back, and I liked it. The sequel to Orphan First Kill. So I bought the 4K from the UK. Right. It has a little bit of a making of feature already, but nothing that's more. But quite a movie that I enjoyed, even if the start was a little bit rough, but then came a little bit of a twist, a nice twist. And I thought, nicely done. And considering back to Avatar, we always have the YouTube reviews without spoilers, and then the spoiler review. But Avatar: The Way of Water is not really a movie where you can spoil a lot from my perspective. This is a little bit more if you would have give away the twist of the movie. So this is my first little bit haul.
Okay, well, I got stuff to show.
Okay.
A few things. First of all, bro, Train to Busan in 4K. Ooh. I love this movie. You know, just when you think zombie movies are tired or something, this comes along. Peninsula, the sequel, not so much. But Train to Busan in 4K, this shit rules. I love this movie, and I have it in 4K. Good for me. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Let's see, what else did I get? Oh, I was so excited for this.
Yeah.
You know what? I got to say, Shout Factory is up on their Steelbook game. And Brian De Palma's Carrie from mid-70s. Nice. Look at that cover. That is a great, great, great Steelbook cover. Love this movie. By the way, in terms of the pantheon of Stephen King adaptations, this is the first, and it is arguably one of the top. I think this is one of the top 5 Stephen King adaptations. It has lost none of its power. Piper Laurie going, "I pray you find Jesus," never gets me. I never fails to get me. It's so great. Eve was weak. Piper Laurie in this movie, my God, she's so good. Everybody's great. Sissy Spacek as Carrie White, Amy Irving, John Travolta, Nancy Allen, PJ Souls. This movie kicks motherfucking ass. If you haven't seen Carrie, what's wrong with you? Go see it now. I mean, yeah, it's a little dated, but I mean, and you know what? Every time I watch this movie, I always forget that the opening credits are in a shower. It's a shower scene in a girl's locker room, which seems relatively shocking when you watch it now. You're like, wow. And then you see a woman obviously Carrie White gets her first period in the shower. You see the blood running. It's something you guys just don't ever see. So it immediately, it's lost none of its transgressive power. So good on me for getting Carrie. Thank you, Shout Factory.
Okay.
Now, you know, one of my favorite things is when I can take a DVD from my collection and get rid of it.
Yeah.
When it comes out on either Blu-ray or 4K. And Arrow. Clive Owen in Croupier.
Oh, yeah. I saw it on Insta.
This movie is, first of all, I love this movie. You know, a lot of people might not like this movie, but I love this film. And it's got some swag in it. This is a great release.
Oui.
First of all, like Arrow is wont to do, they create new art, and then they've got a reversible sleeve that has the original art on it. So you go, Arrow. And this is a 2-disc limited edition, so it's got a Blu-ray and a 4K in it. But I mean, very clever. This is a very clever release. And I Croupier by Anonymous, so it's got this really good booklet, essays with the film. It comes with the new poster art as well. I don't need to undo it because you can see the poster art. So I think this is only a UK release. I don't know if this is coming out in the US. I don't know. I mean, it's funny because I don't even pay any attention anymore, whether something is foreign or wherever. I just get the movie now. I don't care. Just give me the film. But this did come from, and by the way, for anyone who's interested, no, my Highlander discs never showed up. They can't find them.
But this was a UK order, Rob.
Yes.
So we all got big hopes for it.
Yeah, maybe, or I just got fucked. And speaking of UK orders, that along with Croupier, you know what else I got? This from your home country, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. This Eureka release. You know what? This is why we live in wonderful, wonderful times. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, one of the great pieces of German expressionist cinema from the 20s, in 4K, dude. In 4K. Now, if we can just get Murnau's Sunrise, if I can get Murnau's Sunrise in 4K and Metropolis, I'm good. Even though I've got multiple. I'm very excited. Very excited. This is a great release. from Eureka. Obviously, it's a British release. It's got Eureka as they are wont to do. Great book, really thick, beautiful book. It's got the great classic key art, which I've always loved. It's great. And it's in 4K. Like, who would have thought, man? I never would have thought that we would have The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari in 4K coming out from Eureka in the UK in a great boxed edition. Dude, it is dope. And I'm telling you, we're going back to the Laserdisc days where it's turning into a niche market, and there's just cool shit being released. I'm very excited about all of that. And then not to be outdone, Arrow. This might be my favorite release of the year, or not of the year, pardon me, of the week. The late great Douglas Trumbull's Silent Running. One of the great early 70s dystopian science fiction films. It's the first movie that Douglas Trumbull directed. He directed 3 movies. And, Michael Cimino and Stephen Bochco wrote this movie. Joan Baez sings the theme song. And interestingly enough, Dieter, there is a great documentary, a vintage documentary that on the making of Silent Running that was actually shot and made by Chuck Barbie, the man who also photographed my movie Free Enterprise.
Cool.
So there you go. Now again, I got to open this up. Obviously, Arrow. This is new artwork. The cover art is new artwork that they created, but as Arrow is wont to do, this movie has one of the great sci-fi movie posters of all time. They gave it a reversible cover, and they did put the original Silent Running artwork. And it's funny because I have 2 other versions of this movie on Blu-ray already, which I can get rid of, except I have one that's a steelbook. I have owned this movie. I bought, actually, you want to hear something? I didn't buy this. When this was on VHS, when I got this when I was working at the video store, I took the VHS tape home. I copied it, and
switched it out.
I switched it out, so I had the store-bought version in my
collection. You had the original. I
was terrible. I only did that a few times.
Not a copy.
Nobody knew. But so I've owned this on VHS, Laserdisc. MCA put out a double letterbox Laserdisc of this and Colossus: The Forbin Project. One great double Laserdisc, which was weird. They didn't usually do that. Give you 2 totally separate films, but MCA did. So I've owned this on VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, and now 4K. One of those movies where I never have to buy it ever again.
Yeah.
So good for me.
And speaking of Douglas Trumbull, he was a big part of 5/25/77.
Yes.
Because he wanted to meet Douglas Trumbull. This was his first go-to guy.
Then I got Adaptation, because I love this movie in 4K, which is great. Love this film. So I got that. And then the last couple of things I got were actually catalog titles that I got Schnäppchens on.
Yeah.
Picked up
great.
Some Schnäppchens.
Schnäppchens is always good.
So you know what I realized? I didn't know this, but I've been going through my 4Ks. You know what I realized? You know what movie I didn't have in 4K that I thought I had in 4K? Luc Besson's The Professional. How could I have not had this movie in 4K? I mean, I've got The Fifth Element in 4K. But so a Schnäppchen to be had. Leon the Professional. I love this movie. And then I got...
Who doesn't?
I know. Then I got John Wick 1, 2, and 3. A 4K set of all 3, because I only had the third one in 4K, which I don't know why. But so I got this, which was awesome. And
because the 4Ks came later, Rob.
Right.
Considering John Wick, the first releases were just Blu-rays.
Yes. And then finally, I got a Schnäppchen on this. The Mission Impossible 6-film 4K collection. Now, I think I only had Fallout, the last one, in 4K. What's interesting about this box set, though, is it comes with the 4K set here and then the Blu-ray set here. I guess all the special features on Blu-ray, which I really don't care about. But, hey, now you can watch Mission Impossible 2 in 4K, which I know everybody loves to do. Not, but you can if you want. And now I can.
But But I remember, considering the third one, Rob, the special features were great. You
They are
got
great.
the video commentary with your friend JJ, and there
Yeah,
was an extra disc with really nice documentary of the making
yeah.
of the movie.
So that's my week. That's everything I got.
Nice. I would have one letter, Rob, to read.
All right.
Okay. The letter comes from Pedro Ferreira, and it's actually from last week because at the beginning he mentions your member chat, but he was referring not to the one yesterday, the other one that you did. And he writes, "Hi, Rob and Dieter. I hope you are both well. First of all, Rob, you said on the members chat yesterday that editorial help would be given out to people who submitted entries towards the short story competition. I got confused because initially, when I asked Mac Borden, he said no help was being given. This has obviously changed. My question is, how do people who have submitted stories seek editorial help? Do we contact you or do you contact us? Also, when is help going to be given out? After the deadline or before? It means a lot to me to get published, so want to make sure I'm taking all necessary steps to have my story included." This is just the first part, but I will perhaps let you answer this, considering editorial of the short stories.
Oh, well, that's okay. So for those of you who don't know that we were going to do this a couple years back, but COVID and all that, we're running a short story competition, and we're going to publish. We're gonna crowdfund eventually the book because I want to have a hardcover. It's gonna be a hardcover slipcase book called The Imagination Connoisseurs, and the idea behind it is you can write. That's going to be the title of the book, The Imagination Connoisseurs, and your story can either be about imagination connoisseurs, it can appeal to imagination connoisseurs, or it might define what an imagination connoisseur is. I'm leaving it totally open, and the story should be between 5,000 and 10,000 words. And in terms of editorial help, I do have a professional editor, so we're probably gonna charge. We have to charge an entry fee, and the entry fee is going to now go to pay that professional editor to read the stories that we get in. If there's a story that we like and that we would like to include in the collection, but it needs some editorial work, then we are going to have the editor work with the author to shape up the stories. But we're not, if the initial story is not something that we're necessarily interested in, or we don't think that it's a fit for the book, we will not be giving editorial help. So that's how we're going to work with it. And the people that have already submitted stories, those are already grandfathered in. So we've already got, I think we have like 10 already. But I'm going to officially probably announce this after the first of the year, and then the deadline is going to be May 15th, which is my birthday. So, yeah, and we're going to get the book out. The plan is to have the book out for the holidays at the end of 2023. So, and it'll be available. So it'll be available in 3 different formats. You can get it digitally, you can get it in paperback, or you can get the deluxe hardcover version. And I am going to solicit illustrations too. Zevius, who did our theme song for this show, actually submitted a cool cover, potential cover for the book. But we're going to do that as well. So
nice.
There you go.
Okay, this was the first part of the letter, Rob.
Okay.
The second part. Anyway, when it comes to physical media, what I like about this show is seeing you show off steelbooks or box sets or films I will never buy, either due to the money or space. However, I'm noticing a trend in the physical media market, which is worrying. It seems more and more distributors are focusing on marketing their physical media rather than the content included on the discs. For instance, I got excited about Cruel on Blu-ray from HMV's physical media label, but apart from being wrapped up with a poster and some art cards, the disc contents are exactly the same as what was found on the original DVD back in 1999. No making of documentary or anything new. There are a lot of films that aren't having extra features, with the most glaring example being the 90s live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy. As a result, there are a lot of movies underrepresented in this content. It seems that distributors are targeting collectors who are not likely to care about the movies other than the packaging contents. Do you both feel the content of the disc is being ignored in favor of something like Highlander being released for the 50th time, except with a new TED, which you'll buy yet again? Kind regards, Pedro. Pedro, what I would say, we don't have to forget, considering older movies, they were not particularly done with making great behind the scenes stuff in mind back in the day. DVD was the great starting point, actually, from my perspective, to feed to stuff the DVDs with special features, making of deleted scenes. And Rob will tell you probably even more about it, considering DVD was probably the height, considering the special features, aside from Laserdiscs, perhaps.
Yeah.
So when it comes to older movies, they were not particularly always made in mind, oh, we have to make a documentary about the making of, because we'll sell the movie at some point. Of course, we get great documentaries about really the classics, like the Alien stuff from Charlie or other stuff. But if the movie is not particularly that immensely popular, it's tough to do a new special feature for it. Rob, your take on special features, a little bit missing?
Well, unfortunately, special features are expensive to make. You've got, first of all, the labor costs involved. The people actually that are making them have to get paid. Then you have to have budgets to make them. It used to be 5 and 6 figure budgets. I even worked on Chronicles of Narnia that had into the $1 million range of special features budgets. But nowadays, there are no budgets really for special features. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that have come out of the woodwork that are willing to make special features for hardly anything. So most movies you're not going to see special features anymore. I'm of the belief that the most important thing is the movie itself. So that's why I think 4K, when we're getting actual 4K remasters, and what I mean is not taking a previously existing master and bump it up from 2K and maybe do some cleanup. That's BS. What I want are brand new 4K transfers in HDR, preferably Dolby Vision, and that's what I want. So as long as I can get a 4K remaster, I mean, we like the swag, the box sets.
Yeah.
But to me, the real thing that matters is the movie itself. A movie like Krull probably will never get a remaster. I mean, maybe it will. It's just that commercially, a lot of these movies don't have, as the years go by, they become less and less valuable unless they're already like cult titles or something.
Like Highlander.
Yeah, people will buy. And that's just the way of things. I mean, 4K transfers, I think all movies, every single movie that still exists should be transferred to 4K, because that's no one's really going to have 8K in terms of physical media, and even the human eye really can't perceive anything at 8K on the screens that we're watching on anyway. So 4K seems to me the format where movies are going to live as well as they should, really. But it's expensive, to go transfer the negative of a film. It has to be cleaned. It's very laborious to transfer it, and when it's done well, if there's tears in the negative or things, they have to be fixed. So it's cost prohibitive, especially for a lot of low budget stuff. That's why it's great to see a lot of these boutique labels take the time to put out 4K transfers, or they get brand new 4K transfers from the studios that are doing the transfers but just haven't put them out yet. So we'll see. And that's why I love, Second Sight. Hopefully they've got Martin coming out, and apparently they have The Hitcher as well, and Near Dark, I think.
In the wings. Working on it.
which is great.
Oh, yeah, totally. So this was the letter. So hopefully, Pedro, you are satisfied with our answers. And just quick up the stuff that I watched, on streaming. I finished, of course, White Lotus season 3. Had a great time at the White Lotus again. Perhaps not as good as the first season, but still great time and a great last episode. Really dug how it all came together at the end. So I would hopefully that HBO Max does another one. I don't know where they will go next, considering the location, but it was nice to visit the White Lotus again. And we talked a little bit about last week, Rob. I finished, of course, Bad Sisters. What a great series.
Great series.
And I don't know, Rob, they have greenlit a second season. Do we actually need a second season of Bad Sisters?
I don't know.
So it will be hard to top the first one, even if you could a little bit be ahead of the series at some point to figure out who is probably the culprit.
By the way,
and then
I knew who the culprit was, though. I love Bad Sisters. I know who the murderer was from the first episode.
Oh, that was. I was really later, Rob. Really later.
I was like, as soon as I started watching the show, I'm like,
okay.
I was right.
And the next one, Rob, actually makes me a little bit afraid that at one point you will say to the douchey douche from Germany, "I'm not your friend anymore." Just stop.
I would never say that.
And I would ask why, and you say, "I just don't want to be your friend anymore." I watched the Banshees of
in the Sheeran
from Martin McDonough on once again, great movie and different than anything else I have seen probably this year. So I'm really looking forward to buying it. I watched it on HBO Max, a movie that you can interpret, I think, in a lot of ways, considering the backdrop with the civil war in Ireland, and it was strangely funny,
Yep.
and not funny, and the donkey and all that was in it. So hopefully, Rob, you will not say, "I will not be your friend anymore."
I won't ever say that.
I'm just your time waster. I will have to produce good stuff. I don't want that drivel, that German drivel, to get German drivel anymore. About how mediocre Avatar 2, The Way of Water was. And I watched one of my Korean Blu-rays that I bought. I showed it probably months ago. I watched The Cursed, Dead Man's Spray. Really nice. And considering really dark cover, I thought this would be a creepy movie, but it's actually more a supernatural action movie.
Wow.
I was quite surprised that it featured a great a great chase with cars. So I was really surprised because I was expecting a little bit of a different movie, but I had a good time with it. Good time. So The Cursed Dead Man's Spray, and considering Wild Night is in the theaters right now from Tommy Wiseau, I finally not got around. I already knew the movie, but I finally watched it from the 4K disc. Whatever happened to Monday, or AKA Seven Sisters?
Yeah.
Totally had a nice time with it. Perhaps I don't know if it's Tommy Wiseau's perhaps most big budget movie, or it could be Hansel and Gretel actually, or it could be Wild Night. I don't know, but this was a nice one. Nice one too. Onomi Rapas 7 times. How could you say no to that? Okay, this was the stuff that I have seen this week.
Well, you want to hear some news?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. First of all, you know that now this show is definitely I guess you could say it's sort of sponsored by Kino Lorber.
Yeah.
Because Matt from Kino Lorber is.
Oh, Rob, I know. I will foreshadowing now. I know what is coming out from a 2K new remaster.
Oh, okay, boy. Okay.
Fucking cool.
Why don't you announce it? Let's this is why we're friends. You're simpatico. Yeah. Kino Lorber made an announcement. They're remastering. Tell the folks at home what Kino Lorber is remastering.
From a new 2K Masters, one of Rob's favorite. This is the guilty pleasure. Yes,
fuck yeah.
Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth and Lance Henriksen, and then I will finally buy it too. Rob.
Okay, and here it is. Yes, Kino Lorber is doing a new. Why they're not doing it in 4K, I don't know. Come on, Kino. But a new master of one of the most underappreciated action movies ever made. Let's hear it for Kino Lorber. Give it up for the great folks at Kino Lorber for remastering Stone Cold. I just beg of them, why can't you do it in 4K? Do it in 4K. Come on. Do it. Do it now. But that is right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You knew
totally
it.
Unexpected.
You saw totally unexpected. Hey, look, man, if I can't get to live and die in L.A., and we're going to get it. They say that Billy Friedkin, Hurricane Billy, just needs to approve the master. Come on, Bill. What are you doing? You know, I know you're probably working. I think he's working actually on another movie. But, like, you don't be like James Cameron and leave 4K masters sitting around for years. Watch that movie. I want it in 4K. I demand it. But if Kino Lorber, you know, next best thing, Stone Cold, the only thing better than this new remaster of Stone Cold would put it in 4K. You know that you want to look, Kino Lorber. If you're gonna put out Paul Newman's Nobody's Fool in 4K, which is, by the way, I watched this lovely film. I'd never seen it before.
Yeah,
Kino
we'll
Lorber
get to in the live chat about it.
Yeah, and lovely film. If you can put that out in 4K, one more time, you can put out Lance Henriksen and Brian Bosworth in Stone Cold, directed by Craig Baxley. This movie fucking rules. It rules, and I do not know. I mean, hey, I was as happy as the next guy to see that show up. I'm like, what? Kino Lorber's doing a new transfer of Stone Cold? When I saw that, all you want. But if you watch the movie, the action's incredible. Lance Henriksen is incredible. The whole movie's incredible. You'll just shake your head in wide wonder. And see, here's what people don't understand. I'm a movie snob, you know, but I love exploitation and action cinema. But I don't just love every action movie. There's got to be something. In this film, the villains are great. It's hilarious that Brian Bosworth is in, you know, he's making a bid because his football career didn't amount to much he went to the Seahawks in the NFL. So, he was going to try and be an action hero. Didn't work out very well, but this movie rules. And it rules because it was directed by Craig Baxley, who was a former stuntman, did a great job. The movie has great production values. He infiltrates a really bad biker gang. I mean, they're great. The villains are great. The movie is so much fun. I do not apologize. Do not apologize.
We know that you are a snobbish, Rob. You know, last week, never liked Roadhouse.
Roadhouse could be better.
Okay.
Roadhouse is no Stone Cold. But you know what? God bless Vinegar Syndrome. You know, I'm glad you're going to get that MGM Master and you're going to push it. I love it. I mean, you know what? I feel like, here's the thing. I did not buy Roadhouse. But I feel like looking at the packaging and having people talk about it, I feel like I should just buy it to support Vinegar Syndrome. Because I love what Vinegar Syndrome does. You know, it's like when...
Especially with those titles.
Yeah, Severin put something out. Blue Underground. I mean, come on. Blue Underground put out the final countdown on 4K. Support Blue Underground. Support Bill Lustig. Bill Lustig should... I mean, the man he directed Maniac, and now he's putting out great exploitation and beloved sci-fi cult titles on Blu-ray. What's not to love? Don May, his meaning in life, his raison d'etre to live was to get a 4K Suspiria out, to get Argento's. He did. He gave us the greatest. I mean, he's like an astronaut. When you land on the moon, what do you have left to do, to accomplish in your life? Don May was able to get Suspiria out. Second Sight gave me my box set of Dawn of the Dead, the greatest box set of physical media ever put out. That and La La Land's CDs of all
that goes to the island.
Yeah, it goes to the island. It goes to the island. So, you know, support Blue Underground, support Vinegar Syndrome, support Second Sight, support Synapse, support anybody, Mondo, Bizarro, whatever. Support all these small labels for doing what they do.
Yeah.
So good for them. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Criterion announced their new releases. They're putting out some good stuff. David Lynch's Inland Empire coming out in 4K, which is interesting because I thought that was shot on video, but whatever. That's coming out. John Woo's, I love this movie, The Last Hurrah for Chivalry. This was unexpected, and look at that cover. What a great cover. They're also putting out Mildred Pierce. I mean, come on. Michael Curtiz, who directed Casablanca, I believe. And Mildred Pierce. I love this movie. No more wire hangers ever, Joan Crawford. This is a great film. This is why she was a great actress. And they're also putting out Joan Macklin Silver's Chilly Scenes of Winter, which I actually kind of liked. Odd choice for Criterion, I thought, but hey, I'll take it. We've also got MPI's putting out a 4K of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love that they use the original key art for the cover. We talked about Swamp Thing coming out in 4K. The Return of the Swamp Thing with Heather Locklear and Louis Jordan is coming out. Hey, that's cool. A new version of Lucio Fulci's City of the Living Dead. I love this cover. I have an old Arrow release of this on Blu-ray. I love that this is coming out. We've also got Boyhood. Richard Linklater's Boyhood is coming out from Arrow in 4K. That's kind of fun. A remaster, John Frankenheimer's great 70s thriller, Black Sunday, with Robert Shaw Bruce Stern, and this is directed by John Frankenheimer. It's great. This is actually based on a book by Thomas Harris, who wrote The Silence of the Lambs, who wrote Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, and Hannibal. This was his first novel, and this is a great, along with, this is making a great Robert Shaw double bill with Taking a Pelham 123. Definitely worth buying. They're also putting out The House That Screamed, which is, I think, like one of the very first Spanish horror films, something like that. That's cool that they're putting it out. And they're also putting out the Sammo Hung directed Knockabout. I mean, we're getting, if you're a fan of Asian martial arts and action cinema, we're getting all kinds of. I mean, you must be loving it because you buy a lot of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And then Imprint is putting out Little Buddha, which is interesting. I don't know where the transfer came from, but I don't love this movie. But they're also putting out, they're re-releasing, and I'm wondering, this is a big if. I have Jacob's Ladder. I love Jacob's Ladder. I didn't actually look to see if this was going to be a new transfer. I want to know if this is going to be a new transfer, and why is it not in 4K? What can you do? I love this movie. I would love to see it come out in 4K someday, but Imprint is re-releasing it. And now we'll see what the sales figures are. Top 10 Blu-ray sellers for the week of December 10th. Number one, not surprising. Now, these are just Blu-rays. So you got Top Gun Maverick, Clerks 3, Pulp Fiction, Top Gun, the 2-movie collection, Jurassic World Dominion, Star Trek Discovery Season 4. What the fuck? Number 7, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Thor Love and Thunder, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, Spider-Man, No Way Home. Let me just point out that modern Star Trek is not on 4K. I mean, classic Star Trek isn't either. Next Generation was only remastered in 2K. But how do you shoot a new Star Trek show and you don't have it put out in 4K? You know what's coming out in 4K next week? House of the Dragon in 4K, Season 1. But you know what's not in 4K?
And Halo, Rob, they put out Halo in 4K.
They put out Halo in 4K, not Star Trek. You know why? Trash. It's trash. Modern Star Trek's trash, except Picard Season 3. I know people are like, yes, even Strange New Worlds, trash. Look what they did to the poor Gorn. Now, this is the top media. This is overall, including DVDs. This is overall top sellers. Top Gun Maverick, number 1. Number 2 is Clerks 3, which is wild. Number 3, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And then Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. So that's the original animated, and that's the Jim Carrey movie. Then A Charlie Brown Christmas and Pulp Fiction. So that's overall. A lot of DVDs in that. And then, of course, top Blu-ray 3D bestsellers. Wow. Dune is dethroned. Polar Express is up there. Top Gun 3D. Wizard of Oz 3D. There you go. People are still buying them. So good for 3D, because you know we love it. So that's amazing.
Outrop has a 3D Blu-ray.
Well, you know what? That's a big question. Do you think Disney has announced that they're going to release Avatar? They also, Big Jimmy C said the Abyss was going to come out in March. Now, we don't know if it's both versions. It better be. But
Better be the longer one.
Yeah, it better be the longer
be.
one. Do you think Avatar will come out in 3D from Disney?
If all fails, Rob, I'm still having hopes from Japan. That Japan, like with the Marvel stuff, they're still putting out the Marvel movies in 3D in Japan. That if all else fails, perhaps in Japan, Rob, we would get
I would hope so.
an Avatar,
I would
Way
hope
of the
so.
Water 3D.
And
But
the original
considering
Avatar
it's
3D. But I have
but
I have the original Avatar in 3D.
yeah, here it is.
But are they going to put it out in
but-
4K? I guess there is no 4K 3D. So
No, but I would like. I know it's not the best movie, but what I loved was, the Sony 3-disc set. You got the 4K, the 3D, and the Blu-ray in it. That was a great. And Gemini Man, I know it wasn't great, but you got the 4K with the high frame rate. You got
Yeah.
the 3D in it and the Blu-ray. So it was for me a great package to have all combined. And that
Yeah.
what I would like to see with Avatar. The 4K with steady high frame rate. Jimmy, rectify that. Okay? Steady high frame rate, 3D, and the Blu-ray.
I would like that too.
Considering the Way of Water, I don't think we will get an extended cut here. I wouldn't think so, but who knows?
You don't know.
Already
Who knows?
190 minutes.
And then finally, our 4K bestsellers: Pulp Fiction, top of the list, 98% 4K. Top Gun 2-movie collection 4K. Dune 4K, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Spider-Man No Way Home 4K. By the way, I think the top 3 here: Pulp Fiction, Top Gun, and Dune 4K are easily in the top 10 discs of the year in terms of the quality. The actual movie presentation, Top Gun and Dune are second to none, and Pulp Fiction is stunning.
Yeah.
So you go.
Great.
And that's the news, man. That's the news. That's all I got for you this week. I got nothing else. It's
Okay.
it's a week
Where do we
before
go?
Christmas, and all through the house,
Yeah.
there just isn't that much home video news.
Should we go through the super chats or the live chat?
Yeah, we got some super. We'll go through. I will give you the live chat over. We'll do super chats first. We'll get only because with the live chat I can hit the head.
Okay.
Hit the head. V, who is a PGS VIP, been a member for 4 months.
Ooh.
Thank you, V. Wondered, Rob, if you got the Ingmar Bergman Cinema Criterion Collection. I don't believe I've seen these. Is it worth getting? Plus, from Tartan Extreme, I watched All Asian, then a German one about a drug squad. Would you know it? Tartan. I don't know. Is that the name of the title? I'm not sure. A drug squad from Tartan Extreme. Do you know a drug squad movie? A German? It's too broad. I don't. But
from the top of my head, no, Rob. But I will go through the live chat again and see what the title is, if I can duck up on it.
By the way, Tartan Extreme they always deliver the goods.
Yeah.
They always deliver the goods. But to answer your question, V, that Criterion Ingmar Bergman box set that I have right over there is essential. Buy it. It's awesome. The movies, I mean, if you like Bergman,
and you have shown it, Rob. You have shown it.
I've shown it, but it's got this book in it. It's it's got all the classics, whether it's Virgin Spring or The Silence or Persona. It's fantastic. Seventh Seal, obviously, you got to get it. And no self-respecting cinephile should not have that collection. It's really, really great. But wait till it's on sale. Wait till Barnes and Noble half price sale, and because it's an expensive, it's a high ticket piece of physical media. But I absolutely get it if you could get it on sale. 200 Watt Studio says, why isn't North by Northwest on 4K? Who knows? Warner Brothers should put that out. But now that Warner Brothers is claiming that movie as their own, once again, that's part of the great MGM Bogart of 2023. They shouldn't do that. I don't know why it's not. It's a bummer. V gifted a Burnettwork membership to somebody. I don't know who got that membership, but thank you.
Yeah.
We had a great member chat yesterday. That was a lot of fun. So that was very nice of you, V. Georgie Says watching Avatar 2 not in 3D is like watching 12 Angry Men without sound. That is correct, Georgie. Or is it Yorgi? I say Georgie, but maybe it's Yorgi if I guess and you pronounce it in Russian. That's funny. I like that. Marcus Bisma has been a member for 6 months. He's now a member still. Alexander Wilson says, don't forget in the USA the impact the economic slowdown has on the box office. Overall retail sales were down in November. I think people overall aren't going to spend on non-essential things like movies. That could be true. And also the presentation, the high, I paid $24 a ticket for me and Elizabeth to go see Avatar. That was not cheap. You might be right about that, Alexander, but I do think that with Avatar, the box office, people are waiting to see it in premium format theaters. I think that movie's going to be packed for the next 2 weeks. I think it's going to make a fortune. But remember, here's the thing. Avatar started slow and had legs. This movie, people want to see. They know how they're going to see it and how they want to see it. So I would imagine it's going to have legs too. Look, the people that I saw it with, everybody loved. They had a great time at the cinema. Whether you love the movie or not, you got to admit, even you, Dieter, wasn't sitting in that movie theater fun to watch that. It wasn't fun to watch that movie.
Totally.
Yeah.
Considering
so people go
the visuals, you're blown away.
I mean, I would sit there and watch 3 hours of people just swimming around Pandora, just swimming in the underwater.
Totally.
I mean, it's crazy. I've scuba dived, and it was just looking. It's so insane that they're not. I mean, they did do motion capture in the water, but it's insane that they're not actually in the ocean. It's so realistic. It's crazy. And hey,
especially since water is one of the hardest stuff to do. It's like fire.
It's insane. It's insane. But Alexander Wilson, you might be very correct about that. Yorgi or Georgie. Yorgi says, I watched Avatar twice in a row. First in Dolby Cinema and then in IMAX. As much as I love IMAX, the picture quality and colors were better on the Dolby Cinema screen, but the 48 frames per second was more noticeable. Yeah, I've heard that.
There you go, Rob. There you go.
Yeah.
So I don't know what is different in IMAX with the higher frame rate. That it's not that intrusive that I experienced.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I have to read up on that. I'll have to read up.
Rob, just if you I know you like the IMAX, but just for interesting point, if you would watch it again, it would be interesting if you would choose another.
I would. I'm gonna go see it again.
Just to have a comparison.
I want to go see
IMAX,
it. I'm gonna go see it in Dolby Cinema for 3D.
Just to have a comparison between the two.
Yep, I'm gonna absolutely go do that. 100%. 200 Watt Studio says Stephen Lang is in the way of water. Wasn't he killed in the first film? Is Earth that short of kernels? Well, you just have to go see the movie.
There's nothing better than Stephen Lang.
You just got to go see the movie. And hey, Sigourney Weaver died in the first movie, and she's in this too. So check it out. James Evan Travis Hinton from 1984 says, I think for high frame rate, Cameron is warming us up to shots that have compound frame rates, different frame rates keyed to each element of the shot. And that's innovative. I don't even know if they can do that, but you might be correct about that. I mean, look, with video games, games are 30 frames, 60 frames, whatever. I mean, I can understand it, but it's different with see where we run into. Here's the thing about movies. So we, over the course of cinema history, have been programmed that movies look a certain way because for the most part they have 24 frames a second, our persistence of vision. It's photochemical, so there's always been a distance between us. But in the digital world, now that is going away, and the fact that I read this really interesting article. I don't know where it is, but I read it earlier this week. So I don't know if somebody posted it on Facebook or sent it to me. I don't know, but it was all about the speed of images, the frame rate of images, and how that plays on the human brain. And, it was explaining how that high frame rate, our brains cannot distinguish between a movie and reality. So even though we know we're watching a movie, what we're looking at feels like you're right there on set. It feels like
Yeah.
you're standing there looking at a set. So
Yeah.
the artifice that comes between, like, when they make movies, like I was saying this yesterday, if you're a scenic painter, meaning a scenic painter comes in and paints walls and paints sets, and a good scenic painter can make a piece of plywood. If you paint it right, it looks like it's stone. They'll
Yeah.
well, with high frame rate, you can't get away with that anymore. You can get away with it when there's
No.
24 frames, but when you can see that it's paint. So the quality
that was the point for me with the Hobbit movies in HFR, Rob. It looked like
you're on
people
a set.
were playing theaters.
That's
playing at the theater stage. Everything looked cheaper than it actually probably was. Even considering Gemini Man, the acting looked somehow strangely cheaper.
Well, because it looks
tough
like
to explain.
It doesn't look like you're watching a movie.
Perhaps not Gemini Man. Help me, Rob, the other movie from Ang Lee. The
Billy Pilgrim's. I keep saying Billy Pilgrim. That's Slaughterhouse 5, but Billy Mitchell's halftime walk.
Yeah, exactly. That was
the same thing.
coming with Stein Free. Yeah.
Let's see. Yorgi says, Rob Dieter, did you watch the new documentary Jurassic Punk? Without that guy, we wouldn't have Jurassic Park at that time. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know that.
Where's it available?
I don't know. But now I want to see it. I'll have to look that up. Jurassic Punk. 200 Watt Studio says the Mission Impossible films are terrible until 4, 5, and 6. Oh, I like the first. De Palma did the first one. John Woo did the second one. There's things to like in them.
Totally.
I mean,
totally love the second one.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's John Woo, man. I can't not love John Woo. And I like Philip Seymour Hoffman in the third one, but it is J.J. Abrams. There's, but 3, 4, 4, 5, and 6 are head and shoulders better. And I love what Chris McQuarrie is doing. By the way, did you see in front of Avatar? It might only be in the IMAX screen. Did they have the preview for the new Mission Impossible?
No, we got trailers for, of course, Ant-Man.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, not Guardians. Disney 100 for Ariel. There was a little bit of a spot, but no, not Mission Impossible.
So for IMAX, they showed this. It's a preview. They showed Tom Cruise how they did this stunt of him jumping off.
Oh, with the bike.
But it was shot in IMAX. It was awesome. They do this shot with a drone shot takes you over, looking straight into the fjord or whatever.
Not in 3D. I don't want that.
It was awesome. It was awesome. It was so good. That thing in 3D. I was like, whoa! It was awesome.
You know me in heights, Rob. You know me in heights.
Marcus Penner says, "Hey Rob, are you going to do a full review of Avatar 2? I felt like you were kind of hindered on what you could say on the John Campy show." Well, that's usually the case. Well, we did a deep dive into Avatar 2
yesterday.
On Midnight Musings. So Lael, and I jumped right into that, and you might want to check that out. It's a long one, but it's check it out. It's good. I thought we did a good job. Yorgi if I'm saying it wrong, I keep thinking Yorgi because I'm thinking Living Daylights, or Georgie. But Rob, do you know what happened to the movie Reykjavik? Michael Douglas was going to play Ronald Reagan and Christoph Waltz was going to play Gorbachev. It was about 10 years ago. I have no idea.
No idea.
I don't know what happened. Maybe I don't know. Oh, and here comes 200 Watt Studio. Predictably, To Live and Die in LA in 4K is 3K more than it deserves.
Always yakking your yum.
Yeah, I don't understand. How can you not love To Live and Die in LA? I don't understand. Come on. William Peterson? Come on. Willem Dafoe?
And the douche.
God. Vixer 5001, who was in the member chat. She's lovely. Was in the member chat yesterday. It was great to see you in the member chat yesterday, Vixter. My gift to myself has arrived. A Sony 4K UHD player. Gonna put Top Gun Maverick on. You better have. I hope you have the 4K TV though. You know, because you have to have the TV. I guess I would assume you do. It's so great. That Top Gun 4K disc is so great, and in my Dolby Atmos system, it's just thunderous. That disc is unbelievable. Myth Yander says Frasier Yo for Best Actor. What's your best movie? You know, I think Tar. I'm leaning toward Tar as my favorite movie of the year. I said on a stream yesterday that Everything Everywhere All at Once was definitely one of my favorite movies of the year, but I think Tar, I haven't seen every movie I want to see, which I'm going to catch up with in the next couple weeks. But I think Tar of all the movies, I think Tar comes out on Blu-ray next week or 4K.
Yeah, exactly, Rob. I was surprised that it got a little bit, seems of an early release. Didn't expect it to show up this month.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. Mythiander goes on to say, Collateral prequel. Did Cruise like this character? I didn't know. Are they going to make a Collateral prequel? That'd be cool. Michael Mann wrote Heat 2 came out. The book came out. And it's both a prequel and a sequel. So maybe he will make a Collateral sequel. So Tim Hans in the chat says, To Live and Die in LA is free to watch on YouTube. Yes, but it's not free to watch in 4K. I mean, I have 5 different copies of that movie. What I want is the 4K. Yeah. And in our media room, this is not a joke. This is real. I have a Polish movie poster, an original Polish movie poster for To Live and Die in LA, which is hanging up. Now, tips. We got some. Here's a tip. The Cure Swiss fan club sends in a tip for $300. $300.
What?
But yes, but you know what this is? This is Martino Sulmoni, and Martino Sulmoni. He's saying this is Hanukkah Gelt to buy. So Martino Sulmoni, great man that he is, over there in Europe, bought Az and I each Playmobil Enterprises, the Playmobil Starship Enterprise. So what this is for? He sent me the link. For the Playmobil Klingon Bird of Prey that comes out. I think
from Playmobil.
Yeah, so I think it came out last week, and the Klingon, but the Enterprise is hanging. I got the Enterprise hanging, the Playmobil Enterprise hanging. It comes with a hang thing, but the Klingon Bird of Prey comes with a really cool Genesis planet base. So I don't know if I'll hang it or not, but it's awesome. I'll have to get that. Martino, you're too good to us. He's pulled my ass out of the fire this year already, and he has been a great friend, and he keeps the toys rolling. I don't know what I did to deserve your patronage, sir, but you're a prince among lesser mortals, and I'm getting my passport renewed. You know, I keep carrying it around because I'm going to go to the post office. Like here is my passport in my Toomey passport holder because I'm a fiend for all things Toomey. But I'm keeping this because I have all the paperwork filled out. I got my picture taken. I just got to go to the post office. I'm going to turn it in. And the first place I'm going, I have to have them. We're coming to Germany next summer.
Tango Shalom.
Tango Shalom. But maybe I should stop and get Martino first and make him drive me to Germany in one of his cars. And then like the three of us could just go, we could go wander. We could go to Berlin. We could and just make live videos, just broadcast live videos, or go and actually do a behind the scenes video of Martino shooting Play Trek. He says it's gonna have like an epilogue, like it's gonna be his last play. I don't know. I hope not. But yeah, we'll see. But I'm coming to see you. I'm gonna come sit in that room, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to take pictures of your entire physical media collection. So you have 6 months. You
can help me sort it out, Rob. You know.
You know what? How fun would that be?
All the DVDs. You can have all the DVDs.
How much fun! I would love to come to your house and alphabetize your discs.
And you can sign my free Enterprise DVD. You know, fuck off, you douchey douche.
Yeah, you know? I'm coming over, and I'll bring all those discs that I have over there for you anyway. It'll be great. Paul from Twin Flicks says, "Hey, Rob and Dieter. What's cooking? I just wanted to share that our interview with the composer of Avatar: The Way of Water, Simon Franklin, is now live. It was an incredible interview, And here's a link if anyone wants to hear it later. It's great that you're getting these interviews and doing them.
Nice.
That is awesome. And let me put this in the live chat. So this is from Twin Flicks. Here you can go see Paul's interview with the composer of Way of Water. By the way, my interview with Deborah Scott, the costume designer for Way of Water, is going to go up on the Designing Hollywood podcast today. What's really interesting, they discovered when they were making Way of Water, they actually, even though like the Na'vi and the characters are, they're motion capture, but all the things that they're wearing, which are digital, they had to actually make all the costumes for real because they have to see how it moves in water and things like that. So they made all the costumes and they made all the beadwork and everything was done because they had to see how would it work. And then it was all scanned into the computers and stuff. That was really, really interesting. And Deborah Scott won an Academy Award. She was a costume designer on Titanic, won an Academy Award for that. And she also did the original Avatar. And she was the costume designer on Back to the Future.
Nice.
She has a great career. We had a great conversation. And it was a lot of fun. So that'll be happening. So that's good. Secular Monk says, what are your thoughts on review copies? Are YouTubers who receive these copies unbiased or part of the marketing for release? Thanks for your thoughts. Well, Secular Monk, that is a great question. Now, here's the thing. If somebody, I do not pull my punches. You can't, actually you can. If Disney wants to make me a paid shill, Dieter and I are completely open to accepting large sums of money to buy our opinions. But, when Kino Lorber, when Matt at Kino Lorber contacted me and said, we are, we're fans of yours and we want to send you discs because we look, I like Kino Lorber anyway. I'm going to talk about them anyway. And the fact that I can wax rhapsodic about them releasing Brian Bosworth and Stone Cold and doing a new transfer, that doesn't mean like if they put something out that's substandard, I'm going to mention it. Because here's the thing. If you like we tell it like it is. If I see something that sucks, I'm going to be like, this sucks. Because I'm not going to say, you can't buy my opinion. I mean, I joke that you can. It depends how much money you've got. But when it comes to physical media, no one's going to buy our opinion. We either like it or we don't. It's either a great transfer or it isn't. Now, I'm not like Teo over at HD, what is Teo's channel name? I forget, or Spare Change. But like other channels, Films at Home, we're fans, so we're not putting things up on scopes. We're not analyzing things like that. But if we like stuff, we'll just tell you we like it. So if somebody sends me, I mean, like it's not. When you get review copies, especially of standard releases, they don't cost that much. But, I mean, for the most part, if something's bad, I'll say it's bad. You can't buy my opinion. But I don't think most people, because we get so many different review copies, like Bill Hunt's been reviewing discs for 20 years, he's going to really get into it and tell you the nitty gritty. They go in and they put things up on scopes, they look at the actual transfers from a technical standpoint.
And you would think they want to get a good review because it would be help perhaps selling the title if it got good reviews.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but it is part of the marketing for a release. I mean, I'm sure what's interesting is we'll talk about Kino Lorber titles anyway, but it's interesting. Like, I would never have bought Mystery Men in 4K because I don't like Mystery Men. But Kino Lorber sent it to me. The transfer is great. And they ported over all of the legacy special features. So if you're a fan, I mean, I'm happy to have it because it's interesting the way superhero films have gone. It's superhero parody. It's a great transfer. And, Kino Lorber, the first 4K disc that Kino Lorber put out that I bought was Hannibal. And that's an incredible transfer. That just looked great. But then, like the Silence of the Lambs disc that came out, the transfer, like I don't know if it was the Kino Lorber transfer that somebody forgot to the color setting was incorrect, like for the first 20 minutes or something. So I didn't buy that. But you know, you can't buy our opinions. I mean, I'd like you to, but you really can't.
Yeah.
V comes back and says, "Oh, here's the movie. I'm in Eng.
Yeah.
I'm in Eng. The film was a German movie, like black ops going after drug dealers, and I saw it so long ago I cannot remember the name. Came out about the same time as Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance."
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what
It
that
was
is.
a German movie like Black Ops. Okay.
Yorgi. Okay, now you are right, Rob. My name is in the Living Daylights, but I'm not Russian. Jurassic Punk is only for rent or buy. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And Myth Yander says, "Happy Hanukkah, Rob." It is Hanukkah tonight. A Purim movie would be awesome. Larry David as Mordecai, Gal Gadot as Esther. Oh, I'd watch that. I'd watch that. Why not make a Purim movie? That'd be awesome. Shane changed his Spare Change channel's name to his name, Shane Lee. Oh, thanks, Victor Fontaine. I didn't know that. I really like, everybody go subscribe to Shane Lee's YouTube channel. I really like his channel a lot. So that's cool. That's really cool. You know what? I want to find out. So right now, because I want to mention, let's see. I'm going to go to you got to subscribe to the Films at Home YouTube channel. You got to do that because Films at Home, I love his channel, and go see it. Go subscribe to his channel. To Jeff's channel. Films, and he's got 100,000 subscribers. We only have 50,000. We're slacking off. So, and then change channel. It's Blu-ray. Let's see, and then of course, let me get this. It's Boutique Blu-rays with Elliot Cohen. Elliot Cohen. I always say that's his name. You know what? I made a mistake. He did a thing. He says no Criterion 4K of Inland Empire. I said it was a 4K, I believe, on the show. That's a mistake, and it's because I did say it was shot on videos, so that's why. But yeah, you guys should go subscribe to Boutique Blu-rays with Elliot Cohen. BB, go subscribe to that channel. Go subscribe to
Films at Home.
Yeah, Films at Home, Jeff's channel. And Shane Lee's, and then there's one other Teo. Hang on, let's see. 4K channel. I don't know what his channel is. It's like HD TV.
I'm just
HD
putting
TV
a
test. Yes, it's HD TV test. That's he does great stuff. Like he's got a video up here, 5 TV settings that should be illegal. So there you go. Those are all the home video channels that I watch, and go watch them. Yeah. Go subscribe. Yorgi says, Rob, I hope you and Tango Shalom will come to Vienna. Thanks to a VPN, I saw it on Peacock and I loved it. Oh well, Yorgi, thank you. I would, if anybody can use a VPN, Tango Shalom is, of course, now on Peacock. Watch that. But it'll be in theaters in Germany in the summer. Yeah. So there you go. All right, now where are we? I was going to let you do the live chat.
Yeah, and then you can take a leak.
I'm going to go take a leak.
Go for the legend.
I'm going to leave you. You can have the live chat. The floor is yours.
Okay. The floor is mine. Okay. Previously on Let's Get Physical Media, Jack Kayworth was here and he said, you guys are messing up my schedule. I watched another stream before this one. Yours is supposed to begin when that one ends. I'd like to speak with the manager. Well, luckily the manager is gone, Jack. It was an exception last week that we did start a little bit earlier last week. But normally we try to stay at schedule or like it was today, a little bit later. And people were in the chat. Rob watched the movie, but he hadn't seen it. And people were chiming in. Tim Hans, Nobody's Fool is great. Tom Jr. Jackson, oh, I'm a fan of that movie, Nobody's Fool. And Bruce Willis is in it as well. Gary Smith, Nobody's Fool is a good movie, Rob. And Ray Garden and Jessica Tandy and Melanie Griffith, great movie, Nobody's Fool. But now Rob knows it itself that it is a good movie. Gary Smith, Violent Night is doing very well in the States theater. Yes, Gary, I keep my eye, on the box office, but it could do a little bit more. Should be. Hopefully do a little bit more when it comes to the box office. Joe Hemphill enjoyed Troll, the movie on Netflix, and Wednesday, the series on Netflix. Bad Sisters on Apple TV is excellent. Exactly. Joe Hemphill. It was an excellent series, but it really is strange for me that it got a second season because it wrapped up nicely, neatly. So it will be tough to be better with the second season. But okay, let's wait and see. Joe Hemphill asks us, has anyone watched Guillermo's Pinocchio or Emancipation? It's the Will Smith movie on Apple TV. Pinocchio was great and Emancipation was good. Unfortunately, Joe, I have not seen any of those two movies, not Pinocchio or not Emancipation, but a friend of mine recommended Emancipation 2. The next one, unfortunately, Rob is not there, but Jay Valerio says, the kindest and most lovable humans I have ever seen on screen are Rob, Meyer, Burnett, and John Schnapp. Rest in peace, hands down. We'll probably get back to it when Rob comes back. Michaelito, I hated Top Gun, but Top Gun Maverick was excellent. Michaelito, I can make no sense of that sentence. Where's the logic in that? I hated Top Gun, but Top Gun Maverick was excellent. Didn't know the movie were that different, but okay. Jared Snyder said, I thought Emancipation is good, not great, but the battle depiction in it is the best I have seen of US Civil War. Okay, nice. Bill Barclay said, Rob is coming back. Then I go just back to one of the live chats that I already read. Rob, are you back?
Yes.
Because one of the live chat is addressed to you. And Jay Valerio said last week, the kindest and most lovable humans I have ever seen on screen are Robert Meyer Burnett and John Schnapp. Rest in peace, hands down.
Well, that's a very nice thing to say.
What a nice thing to say, exactly.
I miss that guy. I miss John Schnapp.
I can imagine. Bill Barclay said, I see there's yet another killer robot movie out, probably in the vein of Banana Splits and Willy's Wonderland. It's, of course, Bill Barclay, Bloody Christmas from Joe Begos. And it's a very divisive movie because a good friend of mine saw it before I watched it, and he told me this is the worst movie he's seen this year. But Rob, I had a blast with it. So it's very divisive. We've got the Terminator Sender, and when he's got the axe, when he's going on the killing spree.
How come there's a Terminator Santa?
It was a military robot, Rob, but they used it as a sender, so you don't have to deal with the degenerate senders at the mall, so you get actually a robot sender, but artificial intelligence is always a little bit problematic, and he goes on a killing spree. And I had a blast with this movie, but my friend said this was the worst movie of the year. So I don't know where anyone will fall with this movie. It comes with the 4K. And the Joe Begos, I love the two movies he did before that. Bliss was great in my perspective. And VFW was great too. But as far as I know, he does shoot the movies on 16 millimeters. So they are perhaps not demo material considering the 4K, but I thought the transfer was really nice, and it got a little bit Christmas spirit too, and I had a great time with it. Just 85 minutes. The guitar riffs were blaring, the synth pop was nice. So for me, totally great. Totally great. And you've got the great cops, Rob, with the big mustache, hair down to the shoulders. So probably totally police standard to have hair like that, So for me, this was the third movie from Tropegos that I would say was great, but it's very divisive. I heard a lot of people that didn't like Christmas, Bloody Christmas. But this would make a great, from my perspective, double feature with Violent Night, because we have the Die Hard ripoff and we have the Terminator ripoff. One good sender, one bad sender. So great double feature with Violent Night. So Bill Barkley, here it is, Christmas, Bloody Christmas. Altmetall asks if Tango Shalom would premiere in Saarbrücken. I have no idea about that, Altmetall.
I've got to get in touch. I've got to contact the German distributor because I have a behind the scenes documentary I made that no one's ever used. I shot the cast and crew in New York, and maybe somebody will pay me a little shekels. Being the Jew that I am,
nice.
Come on, little shekels, come on. Or not, and I could just get it out on. At least I could get the documentary out on it.
It didn't make the way on the DVD, Rob.
No, they didn't. They didn't want to put anything on the DVD, and I had no control over that. I tried. We were happy to get a DVD. There's no Blu-ray, or you can download it in HD, but
in what quality is it on Peacock, Rob? Full HD?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I mastered it in 4K.
I have to check, Rob.
It's finished in 4K. So I don't know if they're playing it in 4K. They might just be playing it in HD. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Considering just back, this is, as far as I know, the first release. And if you want to see it, Rob, as far as I know, it is on Shudder in the US.
Well, speaking of Shudder, our friend V sent in a super chat and says, "Have you seen anything good on Shudder? I had it, but I canceled it a year and a half ago. Is it worth getting it back? I did see one good, but not enough. I did see one good, but not enough good ones. I think Shudder does a great job.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of cool stuff that I've because they always put out the Blu-rays. They have that Blu-ray component.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff.
This is as far as I know the first physical media release, the German 4K from Cape Light, which put out the rollerboard.
And I also, unfortunately, I think that Shudder, they had some layoffs there. I don't know if they're long for the world or not. I hope they are.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. So from my perspective, just if you want to see Christmas Bloody Christmas, you can get back in the Shudder to Shudder V. Okay.
By the way, Meekin,
Eucalyptus.
Simon,
my friend Simon from Down Under.
Meekin just he's continued to be a member. He's been a member for 21 months.
Yeah.
Thank you, Meekin. Nice. Appreciate it.
Nice. Eucalyptus was in the live chat. I want to see Rob interviewing actors. Eucalyptus, you can just buy Star Trek: The Next Generation on Blu-ray. Then you can see.
Oh,
Rob
you actually, you can see me interview the entire cast of Next Generation on the season 2.
Exactly.
I do an hour-long. Yeah, you've got. First of all, those German discs. I only got the season 1. That's something I want to one day pick up.
Yeah, but the inside, Rob, is not really that fancy, Rob.
No, but I just want the metal, the steelbooks, because the side, they line up and they look great. They've got the whole cast.
Exactly.
But so for those of you who don't know, along with Roger Lay Jr., we produced all the special features for the Next Generation and Enterprise Blu-ray releases. And on the season 2 set, I sit down and moderate a conversation with the entire cast of Next Gen. And then I interviewed everybody individually. We had 2 sessions of 2 hours each with all of the cast. Sorry.
It says historical reunion of the cast. Historical reunion of the cast. Says it on the back of the German steel. 25 years.
Yeah.
25 years.
There's like a clip of it on YouTube, which you can see.
So there you go, Eucalyptus. You can see Rob interviewing.
Myth Yander says, Rob, how would you write Heyman in the Purim movie? You know what? Okay, this is the first. I don't know if I would write him this way, but this is the first thing that comes to mind. There is a Star Trek episode called Return to Tomorrow. It's the episode with Sargon and Thalassa, and there's Haynock. Spock becomes the host for Haynock, and not just because his name starts with an H, but the way Spock plays Haynock, I could see Heyman being portrayed that way. The way Leonard Nimoy is portraying Haynock. That's the first thing that jumped into my mind. But yeah, man, they need to do the Purim. There needs to be the Purim movie, and there needs to be the ultimate Hanukkah movie. So
yeah, okay.
There needs to be.
We had one big news besides Avatar this week was, of course, the Henry Cavill situation.
Pour one out for old Henry.
A little bit out of hand. And Tim Henn said, Henry Cavill is too old for Bond, I'm afraid.
Well, he's 38.
Yeah. And Alpendal said, a lot of we always try to figure out the casting considering 007. There are rumors about Aaron Taylor Johnson for the next Bond.
I think that's a great call.
Yeah, me too. And Tim Henn said, aware of that too, apparently he screen tested and has impressed the producers.
Now, I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I believe that. If he's screen tested,
I just reading from the live chat, you know.
Yeah, I read that too.
But for me, that would actually be a nice pick, considering when I remember him in Bullet Train. So
he was great. He's great in everything he does.
Yeah,
you know, he was great in Kick-Ass. He was great in Savages. He's great in everything he does. I really am a huge fan of his.
Yeah. And then considering video games, Farky 50. I fucking bought Cyberpunk on PC Collector's Edition and was so pissed. No disc. You know? Farky 50 first Collector's Edition I bought in years and no disc. I couldn't believe it. Yeah? Considering video games, it's even more dour in our situation. And then Jason Healy said, UK Blu-ray guy Elliot Cohen. He reminded us,
yes,
because last week we couldn't remember the.
And by the way, you know what? I've been watching Elliot for a long time, and I like his setup, and I kind of like his demeanor because he has a kind of a soothing voice. But he did an interesting thing. Like, he had this big collection, and then he had like this crisis of conscience when he's like, you know, I've got this big collection, but I really think I need to pare my collection down and just get the essentials. So he's rebranded his channel, and I was like, maybe Dieter and I should take Elliot's advice. And then I thought to myself,
that would be good advice, Rob.
Nah, but I appreciated that Elliot did it. Like, he's like, I'm going to curate that when you tune in to see my collection. I mean, Elliot.
But Rob, if we would do that, we wouldn't get to show such titles as African Kung Fu Nazis. You know.
That's right. And I still have to like. Justin Toner, yes, yeah. I still have your copy. And by the way, as much as I love Elliot Cohen's channel, now that I'll never forget his name, Elliot, when Kino Lorber puts out Stone Cold, I want you, Elliot Cohen, I want you to put this just for me.
It is an essential.
Yeah, just for me, just as a shout out to you, Elliot. I want you to stick. Actually, this is my new thing. I want us to make Elliot. To put these little gems, these little nuggets in his collection. Don't tell anybody they're there. And when you're showing it, only Dieter and I will know. And we'll be like, look, Elliot put Stone Cold right there.
Could you imagine, Rob, if we would go the same route and somebody came to us and say, do you have Stone Cold on Blu-ray, and would have to say, no, we have just the essentials, you know, the classics or something like that.
By the way, Elizabeth's dad shamed me. You know, they came over. They love coming over in the new media room. They're watching movies, and he asked me if I had any Danny Kaye movies. And I was like, oh, I don't. And
and you called that a collection?
I felt it was first because, you know, people don't. Now that we have a dedicated movie room where people can come over and watch, I hate that. Like, I felt like, oh, there's nothing like letting somebody down when they ask. So now I've got to go like
He found the black spot, Rob. He found
the court jester, gets and it's funny because a very good friend of mine, Mary Forrest, she would judge me by not having a Danny Kaye movie because that was a big deal. The court jester was a favorite of hers, and it was like,
God damn.
So it's like, yeah, I got to get some Danny Kaye movies. So instead, we watched my Criterion disc of Being There, Peter Sellers Being There. So his sister came over and she just couldn't believe, and Gilbert curled up next to her the whole time. So everybody had everyone loves the media room. And all I can think about is I need to upgrade I have to have a bigger screen. I got to go for that 83-inch Sony. Got to get that 83-inch OLED Sony. it'll be just perfect.
Yeah. Even if that television that you've got is brand new, Rob. It's not that old.
No, I'll just move that in my room though. I'd have to but then I'd have to retire. I don't know what I would do with my 3D plasma, which I don't want to get rid of.
Okay. Yeah. Still got it back there, Rob.
Yeah.
Bill Barkley. Speaking of video games, anyone seen the trailer for Jedi Survivor? Unfortunately, I have not, Bill, but it is a game that I'm really looking forward to.
Oh, dude, the trailer's dope.
Okay.
I saw
because
it looks great. I mean, I love Fallen Order.
Yeah, me too.
And it's a sequel to that. It looks great.
Yeah, looks great. Exactly. And Joe Hemphill said, I haven't seen it, the Jedi. Chris Carr talked about it on the John Campea show.
Yeah, we talked about it on Weekly Hero.
Yeah. And then what we already said, Alpendal Abyss and Avatar will come out in 4K next year.
By the way, Tom Jr. Jackson's like, you don't own White Christmas, in terms of like Danny Kaye movies. I'm like, I'm a Jew. I got Christmas Story.
It's out in the open.
I got Year Without a Santa Claus on DVD or Blu-ray, and I've got I like the Rankin and Bass stuff. I've got Santa Claus Is Coming to Town, and I have the only Christmas movies I have. Let me see. I do not have White Christmas. Here are the Christmas movies I have: Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, Gremlins, Die Hard 2, Iron Man 3, The Nice Guys, John Frankenheimer's Reindeer Games.
Great.
Those are my Christmas movies.
Hopefully you will add Rod Christmas Bloody Christmas to it.
yeah, I got it. Yeah, Christmas Bloody Christmas and I have Black Christmas.
Yeah.
But now I got to get the new remastered version of it on 4K, which I didn't get.
Yeah.
So
which comes from Shout too, I believe.
Mikey is in the chat. He asks, what are we watching for Jewish Movie Day? Well, here's the thing. Since I've been with Elizabeth, I don't get the last Jewish movie day that I used to love going to my family grew up, Jewish Movie Day was Christmas. Christmas Day for us was Jewish Movie Day. In Seattle, we would always go out and see a movie on Christmas. And 2 times in my life, there were Jewish movies on Jewish Movie Day. One of those was Barbra Streisand's Yentl. And there's no fucking way I went skiing with my friends. I missed Jewish Movie Day. I was not going to go see a Barbra Streisand movie. The second time there was a Jewish movie on Jewish Movie Day, Schindler's List. And going to Schindler's List, we went down to downtown Seattle to see it. It was like everybody there knew each other. It was so funny. It was like all of the Jews that lived in Seattle went and saw this one particular show of Schindler's List because we would go to Schindler's List or we'd go to the movies and then we'd go to Chinatown. We don't really have a Chinatown in Seattle. We have the International District. And we go to the International District and have Chinese food. And it was the best. And I saw some great movies for Jewish Movie Day. Stuff like 9 to 5 and all that jazz and stuff like that. It was great. And usually I got to pick the movies, but I made it a point to make sure that everybody would like the movie that we saw. But yes, I don't have White Christmas. But 200 Watt Studio says apparently the Arrow Black Sunday will have the restored mono track. That's good. That's I can't wait to get that. But I did buy the imprint Black Sunday from them, but I'll get that Arrow because I love Arrow. V says if a cheap movie is made, I want Jack Frost 3. Love the first one, endured the second one, but it was funny watching my other see it. You mean your other half, your partner? Jack Frost 3.
The trilogy is complete.
There you go.
Okay. Roman Chopra was in the live chat. Roman, that stays between us, Just cast Jennifer Lawrence as new Bond. She rattled enough cages in the last 2 weeks. Come on, Roman.
Come on, we stuck up for her, though. We stuck up for her.
Yeah.
We will always...
Rob, you know how this happened? I called her up. Hey, Jenny. The Phantom Menace channels, they need new stuff. Can you put out a little bit stupid stuff? Jenny said, okay, I think about it, okay? That's how it came to be.
Come on, man. We all love J-Law here. J-Law is always welcome. She wants to come on the show. Actually, I should see if I can get an interview with her. Would you like it if I could get J-Law to come on this show and do an interview with her?
I would be probably a little bit nervous, Rob.
Would you?
Just like with you, when we start the show, a little bit nervous, but then I settle in, a little bit stage fright is always coming with the territory of being live on YouTube.
Wow, Kiki in the chat says, I suggest Tel Aviv on Fire for Jewish Movie Day. Great movie. I've never heard of that. Tel Aviv on Fire. I'll watch that shit. Although I don't want Tel Aviv to be on fire because I love Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
Yerushalayim Shel Zahav or Yerushalayim. Not what is it? Tel Aviv Shel Zahav. Would that be it? Right next year in Tel Aviv. That's what I want, dude. We should go to Tel Aviv, man. That is one party town. It's so awesome.
Oh, nice.
You know what the best thing about Tel Aviv is? Israeli girls.
Let me out.
Israeli girls. I mean, I can't do that now. I'm in a long-term relationship, but let me tell you, man, Tel Aviv is great. And that's what Jimmy the Gent says. Great Jewish movies, Exodus. It's true. A little Paul Newman action. Go for that Exodus. Yeah.
Is Elizabeth too broken up about France not scoring the World Cup today?
You know what? I haven't talked to her about it yet. I think she's going to get. I was dissing on French people this morning, and she gets really angry. By the way, you know what another great Christmas movie is, and people forget about this? On Her Majesty's Secret Service is a Christmas movie. Do they know where Christmas trees are grown? It takes place at Christmas, man. It does.
Totally forgot it. Troy Ulysses, formerly Dirty Soul Monkey, was in live chat. Cameron does not care about his old movies. T2 transfer is terrible. I do not expect anything great from Abyss or True Lies if we get them. Let's fingers crossed that we will get something decent. And Bill Barclay asked the greatest question: does the 4K of Abyss come with the extended edition? Because otherwise, I would even go too far to say it would be almost useless if it weren't the extended cut.
I will not buy. I will not buy the. I love the Abyss, and I will not buy it unless it's the.
So fingers crossed, it will be the extended edition that we get on 4K. Bill Barclay, apart from me, anyone else still watching Willow TV series? The last episode was actually slightly getting better. I have not watched the series, Bill, and I have actually no interest in it.
Yeah, I tapped out.
Did you see that you tapped out too?
I tapped out after 3.
Super.
I don't need to go back.
Much.
I was really disappointed, actually.
Kondo 007 says James Cameron only filmed the underwater scenes in HFR. It didn't look that way. It would be nice if it would just have been the underwater scenes, but unfortunately, that was not the case from what I have seen.
Yeah, there's more than just that. By the way, apropos of nothing, I started a new Netflix series. I love spy thriller Bond things. Okay. There's a great, at least the first episode was great. There's a new series called The Recruit on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Isn't it this?
It's with the guy who plays Red Hood. Not Red Hood. Who's on Titans? Noah.
Isn't it with Charlie Cox?
No, that's Treason. That starts after Christmas. Okay. This is it's a spy thriller show, but it's comedic.
Was Brendan Traits?
No. The guy who took over Robin, The other guy. No, I think it's Noah Centra, something like that.
Okay.
I've only watched the first episode. The first episode was great. It's about this kid, this lawyer who joins the CIA, and it goes from there. The first episode I loved, and I was going to watch the second episode, but then Elizabeth falls asleep, and she's like, "You can't watch this anymore. You have to watch it with me." But the first episode I loved it. It was great, and I can't wait to see Treason.
Okay, Treason. That was the one with Charlie.
Yeah,
Cox.
that's the one with Charlie Cox. That's the MI6 with Kieran.
Exactly.
Kieran Hines. Yeah.
Nice. Danzig, 1979. I have the 4K Robin Hood. Prince of Thief from Arrow still holds up and is a great transfer, in my opinion. Well, Danzig, I've got it right here. From Arrow, the special edition for this week. Coffee and cake movie, Rob. Coffee and cake movie here.
Yeah, you know what? I now that I see it, I didn't buy it. I'll get it. I like this movie.
Yeah,
I don't know why,
but I haven't seen it in a long. I don't
understand why Warner Brothers. Why did Arrow get it?
Yeah, exactly.
The studios, man, they're letting me down. They're letting me down. You know who's not letting me down? Studio, George Feltenstein. We talked about the release date. I mean, they're kicking it into high gear in 2023. They got that Fritz Lang movie coming out. They've got Goodbye, Mr. Chips. They got all kinds of good stuff coming out. I am looking forward. Is that the Steelbook? Is there a Steelbook?
This is Steelbook, Rob.
Oh, shit. Okay, I forget that. Because it's Kevin Reynolds. I mean, I like that movie.
Haven't seen it in a long time. So
it's good.
In it, we have
Noah Centrino. That's it. Noah Centrino.
Okay. We have some postcards. Always the wrong way. God damn it.
By the way, 200 Watt Studio says Black Sunday for me is like to live and die in LA is for you. I have the Laserdisc, the DVD, both signed by Bruce Stern, the imprint Blu-ray, and I ordered the Arrow Blu-ray. Yeah, but the thing is that if you guys haven't seen Black Sunday, it's about terrorists that want to blow up the Super Bowl, kind of like what they did in The Sum of All Fears later. It's awesome. I mean, it is an awesome thriller. And Robert Shaw's great in it. Bruce Stern's great in it. It's awesome. So
here we have some. Oh, I don't know if I would call it.
Now that's a 4. That's that. Prince of Thieves. That's 4K, right?
Yeah, 4K and on Blu-ray too, or it could be just bonus features. But I think it's the movie on both formats.
By the way, Meekin Music sends us a super chat from Australia and says, "Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Thanks, guys, for entertaining and enticing our spendings all year long. Wishing you a happy holiday period. Let us all raise a glass to our negative bank balance as well. Considering I just poured myself a beer, I can do that. So here's to you. I wish this was Cooper's, and I wish I was drinking a nice Cooper's, but I'm not. Although this is pretty damn good, having a little New Belgium triple style ale. So there you go.
Nice. So
because it's afternoon.
Poster, and we have this nice, more of a photo booklet with some text in it about the movie, but the last part are these, I don't know, publicity stills.
Yeah.
In it. But I haven't seen it in a really, really long time.
By the way, Roberto
probably
Suarez,
for the holidays. Perfect. Coffee and cake.
Coffee and cake. Noah Centino played Adam Smasher in Black Adam. That's right. But I think he's in.
Oh, okay.
I think he's in. But he's in. Isn't he in Titans?
Titans, Rob? No, I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Don't remember him being on Titans. But I could be wrong. Even if I watched Titans, I don't know if what he's playing on Titans. Playing something.
Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know why I was thinking Titans then.
Okay. Considering last week's Roadhouse, BCH, nice DVD for such a silly movie. VCH is what's not the DVD, it was the 4K and the Blu-ray. We're not talking about DVD here. Okay?
I mean, am I going to be perpetually shamed if I don't get the Blu-ray
No,
or the 4K
you're not.
of Roadhouse?
You're not, but somebody will have to put it on his, best of the year lists if you don't do it, Rob.
It's true. It's true.
And
well,
they're saying they're remaking Roadhouse. I heard something about.
I know.
that
It's
too.
like you can't remake Roadhouse in this day and age.
No,
No way.
normally not. Bill Barkley as Who With in place of Swayze, and Kondo 007 with Jake Gyllenhaal. And Rednick says with Ronda Rousey. So if Ronda Rousey is playing the same character that she played in Expendables
Could
3,
be.
where she
Ronda,
was a
Ronda
bouncer.
Rousey is hot. She's hot.
I know.
By the way,
Sean-
200 Watt Studio
Yeah.
says about Black Sunday. Not only that, but the John Williams score for Black
score.
Sunday is to terrorism films what the David Shire score is in The Taking of Pelham 123 to New York thrillers. I agree. That they're great score. The Black Sunday score is a great score. And you're right, because I'd forgotten how great the Shire score for Taking of Pelham 123 was.
Okay.
It's great. You know what? I miss these days, man. I want to bring these days back. Like there's why can't we get movies like Black Sunday and The Taking of Pelham 123? Why,
Yeah.
Dieter?
It's a different time, Rob. Different time,
You know,
But
Andre,
we have
Andre says that we should
have-
reach out to
yeah.
Films at Home for an interview. We should bring him on one day. You know what
If
we
he
should
wants
do,
to,
dude?
yeah.
You know what we should do? So here's what we're going to do, guys. Not after on Monday, on the 26th. We're not going to be here for Christmas, but we're going to be here next Monday. And we're going to do our physical media releases of the year show.
Top 10.
We should ask
top
Jeff to come on. We should
Yeah.
have him come on the show. Because we
Totally.
want to bogart his audience.
Yeah.
So he can subscribe. I bet he would. That would be
So-
fun. So he could bring his 10. We could bring our
Yeah.
art, and it'd be. You know what? I'll send him a. Hey Jeff, if you watch this show, I know because he knew that I gave him a shout out. I'm gonna contact you on Twitter and ask you to come on our show. I think it'd be good to have him. He has his new, and he has a new setup at home too. He's got a cool new
Nice.
media room setup.
Sean Carter in the live chat asked about your help, Rob. Rob suggests some good headphone for a theater experience with gaming and movies. From my perspective, Sean Carter, I can't help you there. I'm not really a headphone guy. Rob, have you headphone
All of
recommendation?
my favorite headphones are the Sony professional headphones, the studio headphones. They're my favorite headphones. Like I don't, Beats and all that stuff. I use these headphones to mix with, like when I'm mixing things and stuff. I love these headphones, the Sony headphones.
There you go, Sean Carter. Sony.
But I don't know
headphones.
how for gaming you might want something that has more bass response, like you get Beats by Dre or something.
Perhaps, yeah. And there are even, more surround headphones, that you can get now. But I'm not into headphones, so I can't give you any recommendation from my perspective.
Yeah, and for
Tough.
gaming, dude.
Yeah.
Set up a great surround sound system.
Exactly.
You
Rob.
got to rock.
Stop with the
In my media
headphone.
room, I got the Xbox X and the 4K and the the PlayStation. Playing video games with full-on Dolby Atmos surround fucking rules. It's better than any headphones because you get bass response.
Yeah. Exactly, Rob. Exactly. But I can understand when it's late at night, to have some headphones. It's okay, but I can't give any recommendations. I have no idea which headphones would be suitable for good gaming and theater
Z
experience.
says Sennheiser headphones. Those are very good as well. Sennheiser headphones are really good.
Nice. Lototh, our moderator, was in the chat, and he says, "Classic, another word for very old." Okay, Lototh.
Oh, come on, man. Lord Toff. That
Lord,
is incorrect. You know, it's really funny. I ask myself, like how long can I, as a middle-aged man with one foot in the grave, how long can I get away with talking on YouTube before people go, I already get the old man shouting at Cloud Simpsons meme enough, But how long before people stop listening to me? How long before waxing rhapsodic about getting I Spit on Your Grave in 4K? How far can I do that before people go, you old fuck, you're just a crazy old guy that we shouldn't listen to anymore? Who knows?
Who knows? Harold Rant said, Rob, what's the best website for keeping track of 4K releases? Rob, where did you get your 4K news?
Well, I always go to Blu-ray.com. You know, the two places, first of all, you've got to go to the digital bits. I mean, I know Bill Hunt wants to get out of doing the digital bits, but the digital bits to me is the New York Times of home entertainment in terms of releases. Now, here's another thing, and I wanna give a shout out. That's for upcoming news, but we've talked about him on the show before. But Douglas Pratt, the Laserdisc DVD newsletter. Look up Douglas Pratt, the Laserdisc DVD newsletter, because I mean, I've been reading his newsletter. My friend Craig Hyland, who worked at Videophile in Seattle in the early 80s, where I met him, a friend of mine for over 35 years now. I first encountered the back then. I think it was just the Laserdisc newsletter. He does great reviews of stuff that have come out, and he also has a release on his newsletter, everything that's coming out, that's incredibly comprehensive. So go subscribe to his newsletter, pay him money. It's worth getting because his reviews have always been worth reading. He does a great job. And the Laserdisc DVD newsletter, Doug Pratt, go support him because he's rad. And I've been, I used to buy his newsletter in Tower Records when it was, he literally, it was like stapled together. Yeah, it was like $4 or something.
I forgot. I was trying to find if I have some of that left, because I think that was the one that I was getting from my Laserdisc store too, but I could be wrong that it's
he's rad. So go to the digital bits. You got to read Blu-ray.com for news. I mean, Blu-ray.com is more of a news place where that's where I poach from them for the every week our news. I go to Blu-ray.com, or I steal from Bill. Steal from the best.
Steal from the best, exactly.
And then also, go to. I mean, in this day and age, I would encourage everybody to, if you like boutique labels like Vinegar Syndrome, they've got, if you want to just buy their bundles, they do monthly bundles. Imprint does bundles. Like, you can buy all of Imprint's releases if you want. They have bundles. Vinegar Syndrome, Second Sight. I cannot stress enough how important it is to go to these sites, whether it's 101 Films, or 88 Films in the UK.
88 Films, exactly.
They're doing the God's work when it comes to a lot of Asian titles. Yeah. Go to these places. Go to Second Sight. Go to Blue Underground. Go to these companies and go and just buy their shit. Go to their website and buy their stuff. Even if it's something you've never heard of. You go to Second Sight. What did you say?
Robotrix.
Like Robotrix. Come on, man. Go buy. You know what? It's funny. You know what I realized I bought? I was going through I think I showed it when I got it.
Okay.
I forgot. Here's a great Vinegar Syndrome title that's in 4K. Sex World. I mean, come on. Sex World in 4K. To be honest, I have to admit, I have not put this on. I've not watched this. I've never seen this movie. It's a little hard when you're watching, sex films by yourself and your girlfriend walks in. It's just it's hard. I think when you live with somebody, it's hard even to watch your exploitation porn. What can I say? But you know what? Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah.
Vinegar Syndrome. I bought it strictly to support them.
That's what we're doing here.
And their partner labels when they put out like Bobby Roth's Heartbreakers. I couldn't believe that. So go support these guys.
So those are the two websites, Harold Rant. Bill Barkley, no Jaws 3D. We're talking about 3Ds. No, the Jaws has not been released.
Jaws. You know what? I would buy
3D.
Jaws. I saw Jaws.
Yeah.
That was the summer
I
with
heard- I heard
Friday the
good-
13th 3D, Jaws 3D, and Metal Storm, the destruction of Jared Sin in 3D.
Sin. Yeah.
And Space
was talking
Hunter,
about-
Adventures in the Forbidden Zone.
Yeah. He was talking about the remastered version of Jaws that came out this year, which I heard good things about, the 3D. Considering
Yeah,
the
that hasn't
conversion.
come out yet, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love
Hopefully
to get
it will
that.
do. Yeah. Considering the Frighteners I showed last week, Troy Ulysses, formerly Dirty Soul Monkey.
Hey, wait a
frustrating, the
minute.
book
Hey,
is-
hang on.
yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Mr.
Yeah.
47
No.
just said that Vinegar
Yeah.
Syndrome is a stupid name, Lamau. Now, I don't mean to shame you publicly, but I kind of do mean to shame you publicly. The reason it's called Vinegar Syndrome is what happens to film prints when they deteriorate. They literally
There you go.
turn to vinegar. If you're in a place where there's a lot of film prints like celluloid stored, when it degrades, it smells like it vinegar. So that's why
And
that's
And it
go ahead.
sounds way cooler, Rob, than Laser Rot.
yes. And so the reason that it's called Vinegar Syndrome is that's literally what happens. So what Vinegar Syndrome, the company, is doing is when the prints disintegrate and turn to vinegar, they're preserving movies.
Yeah.
So it's not
Before
a
we
stupid
didn't
name.
get New York Ninja.
Yeah, you wouldn't have gotten. Come on, man, you wouldn't have got New York
Yeah.
Ninja. I wouldn't have got Liquid Sky.
Right,
Liquid
yeah.
Sky. Slava Sukram is Liquid Sky. Body Melt. Body Melt, a movie that Elizabeth still gives me shit for. They put out their Body Melt has a die cut O-ring. God bless Vinegar Syndrome. God bless them.
Yes, exactly. And the last one, considering the Frighteners box that I showed last week, Troy Ulysses, formerly frustrating. The book is only in German. Yeah, Troy, but it's a German release, so of course, the book that comes with it is, of course, in German. That was the live chat from last week, and I have one last title to show, not a special edition.
Oh, hang
but
on.
it's a double dip, Rob. It's a double dip because I bought this movie already, and I liked it, and it came out in the UK as the uncut version, which actually means I told you about it. Considering fall, they did digitally, they did something with the mouse that they were not speaking the fucks, but in England, that has another cover, and it comes with the uncut version where there is probably then more fucking considering the language, So this has both versions, the theatrical and uncut version. And I
It
love
should be
the
the
different cover.
theatrical and the fucking version.
Yeah, exactly.
There's more fucking
Exactly.
in this.
Because from the movie perspective, I was looking which shot was done with green screen, but I never expected digitally trickery considering mouse movements, and I didn't detect anything that was off or something like that, like the Henry Cavill mustache or something like that. So it was really, that was not a part where I was expecting digital trickery, and I quite enjoyed Fall, and I liked the other cover artwork. So a double dip for me, Fall from the UK in the uncut version and theatrical.
Hey, by the way, you know what? When I come to Europe,
Yeah.
when I come to Germany next year, we need to. We're gonna go on a road trip, dude. We're gonna do the Tango Shalom German road trip. We're going to England. We're gonna get the Vixter, who's in the chat. We're gonna get Vixter 5001. We're gonna get Emma Bannon. We're gonna get Louise X Sparrow.
Yep.
We're gonna get the ladies. We're gonna go out and party in the UK, bro.
Nice.
Come on, man. You don't ever get it. All you do is go to work and you sit in your house and watch physical media.
What can I do?
And we're taking Patrick with us.
He saw Avatar 2 today, but I haven't heard back now what he thought about it. So, from my end, you should go out, see it, make up your own mind. From my perspective, good, but not as good as the first.
Hey, Pedro Ferrara
Yeah.
is in the chat. Hey, how's it going, Pedro? He says, has anyone seen the Stone Tape? The Stone Tape is another one of those things that I have on DVD. Now, if memory serves, the Stone Tape is a really cool. It's UK. Let me find out what year it is. Let me see. It's early. Yeah, okay, it's 72. And it was, what's cool about the Stone Tape is it's written by Nigel Neal, he of Quatermass fame. Quatermass 2, Quatermass in the Pit. It's really good. Now, but it's British TV, but I don't know.
Okay.
I think, oh, hey. That, you know what? Speaking of Christmas, it was broadcast as a Christmas ghost story in 1972.
Ooh.
How cool is that? But it's really good. Now, the thing that I have, I'm looking for this about Nigel Neal wrote it, but I if memory serves, is it shot on tape? Is it on videotape? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But it's really good. It's really good. I have a British DVD of it, which I got like 20 years ago, but it's good. If you guys haven't seen the Stone Tape, Pedro's right. Pedro he has good taste, so get it. He just got around to watching it. It's good. Well, I have the DVD for a million years, so it's awesome.
Nice.
So where are we at now? What is that?
From my perspective, Rob, we have done everything that
we've done everything. It's done. All right. Well, of course.
Live chat letters, showed stuff. Talked about Avatar: The Way of Water.
I admitted I have Sex World in 4K.
Yeah.
So and
I'm telling you, K movies.
I'm telling you, these sleeves. Now I know this is kind of anal and stupid, but I'm putting all my 4K discs, and you know what? Who are we kidding? I'll probably get around to putting all of my Blu-rays or whatever, but for now, all of my 4K discs. It's great because if they have O-rings, the discs can just slide out, but they're all going in these sleeves. I love these.
Considering Vinegar Syndrome, you were lucky to get that in that sleeve, Rob. Normally, they are thicker boxes.
No, you're goddamn right. They're thicker. Yeah. No, but also it protects a disc like this from any kind of unwanted.
Yeah.
No, I will make the joke, but yeah. So no, it's great. And these actually they look nice. But I like them. I think they're great. And it's interesting because sometimes Arrow, like the Blue Underground, Dead and Buried. Like, hang on, man. I think I just put I'll find it. Has a really thick box. I can't find it. And it was a snug fit because it's got a lenticular. Both Dead and Buried and the Final Countdown have like these lenticular boxes, I think. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Ooh, that's really cool. Love that.
It was the Italian 3D.
See, I didn't get that, but you put that in a sleeve and it's protected.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'll get hit by a bus and people will come in my collection and be like, well, he was very anal retentive about his, because all my laser discs are in these clear vinyl sleeves, and they've been in there for, dude, I got laser discs that are 30 years old, 35, 40.
Ooh.
40.
No, I can't.
40-year-old laser discs.
A 40-year-old, not. I think the oldest one, the first one that I got, Rob, was the RoboCut Criterion laser disc. I think that was, and Star Trek Next Generation. So help me, Rob. Star Trek Generation of 94.
You mean, yeah, Generations came out in 94.
94. So the laser is a little bit later.
So, by the way, Star Trek Generations is a Christmas movie.
There you go.
Christmas movie. Not a good Christmas movie, but it's a good Christmas movie.
So probably my oldest lasers then are around 25 years.
Video Hunter D is like, why does Rob's Sex World look so sticky? This is not sticky. There's no stickiness on this. By God, you think I would let precious bodily fluids get anywhere near my physical media? No, I don't even touch my discs, man. Come on, I wipe off paperback books when I'm finished reading them. That's how weird I am.
So,
Tom J. Jackson says Robotrix.
So I think, Rob, we are at the end of our show. And before Rob says, I will not be your friend anymore. I have no time for your useless German drivel.
I would never say that, Dieter.
That made me. I'm horrified now after seeing the Benches of Inisherin. Also, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And all you have to do is listen. And with that, we come to the end of Let's Get Physical Media, episode 91. We're only 8 weeks away, or 9 weeks away, I guess, from our 100th episode. Wow. Can you believe that?
Unbelievable. So
will it be in March? I guess it'll be in March, right? March, maybe?
Around that time. So don't forget, if you want to join us on Monday, not Sunday, on Monday.
Monday, Boxing Day in the UK, Monday the 26th. And I'm gonna call, like, he doesn't even know it yet unless he's watching the show. Jeff, Films at Home, bro, we want to bring you on this channel, our show, because you have 50,000 more subscribers than I do. We want to bring you on, and we want to talk about what are the top 10 physical media releases for you.
Exactly.
Now, not like what are necessarily objectively the best for whatever, but I will tell you this.
Person.
Top Gun, Maverick, and Dune, and maybe The Batman are three wow, and Star Trek the Motion Picture. Definitely up there. But
okay.
Did Dune come out this year? The Coke Dune? I think it did.
Yeah. I think so.
Dude, it's a big fucking year for physical media.
Yeah. So we will do the top 10 on Monday 26th. This is the plan. So no new physical media, just the top 10 releases of the year for both of us, which hopefully, like last year, will be different again. And we will try to do the top 10 movies that we would bring to a deserted island with us.
Pod Racing Palpatine says, do you not have Boxing Day in the USA? We don't. We do not celebrate Boxing Day here in the United States. I mean, I'm sure some people do, but it's not a thing.
So we will come back Monday, not Sunday, because I asked Rob, there's no John Campea show.
No John Campea, but Monday. You know what? And I'll even I'll put it on the schedule right now that it's and I'll call the stream. It's Unboxing Day. Oh, dude, I got to tell you what I scored this week. I made to end the show, big score. So you know that Sony Pictures Classics had their $300 box set, right? $300 box set where they had like Run Lola Run and SLC Punk in 4K, all those movies. It's $300.
All those movies that didn't make it into the volume set.
Well, but I got it for $130. They had it on Amazon on sale, and there was like 4 left. I'm like,
Schnäppchen.
I was like, holy shit! Oh, more than half off. More than half off. And I was like, click. Hopefully, I'll get it by next week. But thank you, Amazon. It was awesome. By the way, can I just say one more thing? Warner Brothers, you should be ashamed of yourself for bogarting the MGM library for your 100th anniversary special. And you just know some douchebag is going to, like, okay, so here at Columbia, right? These Columbia classics, we love these, even though this one, it's not as Annie. Why do I have Annie in 4K? I don't know, because it's in here.
It's in the box.
It's in the box. It's in the box. But Warner Brothers is going to do some shit like this, and I hope Disney does some shit like this in 4K. By the way, Disney, you used to be great. Now you're not. Put out some great for your 100th anniversary. Give me the ultimate 4K versions of your movies. How about the entire? I mean, somebody else already released the Infinity Saga, but how about do the Infinity Saga with IMAX enhancements and a decent fucking Atmos mix? Don't fuck us anymore. But anyway, Warner Brothers is going to do this, and you know what they're going to do, because they've already done it before. They're going to put MGM movies, they're going to co-mingle. They're going to put MGM movies and they're going to put Warner Brothers movies, and they're going to take credit. Now, they've already done this before in releases like 1939, which I didn't have a problem with because They didn't say the studio legacy, movies of 1939. Put them out. It's great. Don't take credit for making Gone with the Wind. Don't take credit for making Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Don't. It's bad form. David Zaslav, off with the heads of the people that do that. You're denigrating your own. You're denigrating film history. You're showing that you're not paying attention. You know, come on, man, make it right.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're going to end this show.
Yeah.
We will see you next Monday.
See you next Monday. Exactly.
Oh, wait. You know what I forgot? Hang on. I'm not done yet. I haven't ended the stream. Let me just come back. What I forgot to say was I forgot to, first of all, thank our moderating staff. Lord Toth was here moderating. I forgot to thank Tom Jr. Jackson. I wanted to thank all of the people that are members of this channel. Thank you so much for being members. And I want to thank everybody that generously supports this channel via super chats and tips. And I want to thank Martino Simoni for basically buying me the Playmobil Bird of Prey. It is much appreciated. And again, we will have the next member chat will be not next week, but the week after. And thank you for all the people that continue to support this channel via super chats, tips, and memberships. So, sorry, I'm sorry I forgot that. And now